And we're live. How is everybody doing tonight? Michael B., you're first. You are first. Everything is pretty good with me. I'm going to have a little bit of sniffles, guys. Apologies for that. Mark Harris, hello. Charlie is not here. I miss Charlie. He's still at my daughter-in-law's. He's going to be there probably another 2 or 3 days. I am going to see him tomorrow, though, because I'm going to go up there. Rethink, hello. Yeah, we're going to talk about that, aren't we? Yeah, people infiltrated. You don't expect the other side to go down without a fight, do you? See, this is what they should really be scared about. We're going to talk a little bit about that, and then it's just open topic. Stanley, good to see you, Stanley. And the party is started. Hello, East Spears. We've got a whole 12 people here. Wake the Republic. I think I have 6 more days in time out left on Thrive and Survive. And then after that, we'll be back to the way we were. So as you have seen, or maybe you haven't seen, in Canada, instead of voting, which they've been doing, and you know people haven't been voting for Trudeau, well, of course, who knows? But the establishment is not afraid of the voting machine. It's not afraid of the voting booth. And I'm not going to say why, because I don't want to get a strike. But they're not afraid of that. If they were afraid of that, they wouldn't act the way they do either. Do you think you'd have these nutty people going after these nutty things that they're trying to push through if they were really worried about your vote? No, these people only understand force. Now, the truckers, it's a form of force. They're actually taking action. All right. 10, 15, 20 years of voting ain't going to do what they just got done in a few weeks. The idiots up there were going to put in a tax where you would be taxed if you aren't vaccinated because you're causing more health issues for the rest of them. And one of the other provinces, they just dropped a vaccine mandate that was going to go into effect at the end of February. So action begets action. Voting gets crap when you have a broken system, and our system's broken. And I'm going to be preaching that until the 2022 and 2024 elections. Now, I'll probably do election specials those nights. We'll see what's going on. But as you guys know, I don't believe it's the way to go. The way to go is what these truckers are doing. And yet people are going to infiltrate them, and they're going to do all kind of stuff because this is what really, really gets the attention. Where's Trudeau? He's in hiding. No, I'm not going to face them. I'm too scared. I'm not going to face any of them. So for precautionary safety reasons, he's been taken out of his normal hiding place up there. Where is it? It's the capital in Quebec. Is that where Trudeau is? Who knows? I don't know. You guys from Canada, you'll have to tell me. Veet with thunder, never mind. Hello. Yep, you got it. Restrictions being dropped in a few provinces already. You got to either starve the beast, which means money, or you have to attack the beast, which is what they're doing. It's a nonviolent attack, but it's an attack nonetheless. It's something that could become physical, and they know it. And it could physically mess up their cities. Stanley, who counts the vote? Quote, who counts the votes, counts the votes, counts the votes. As Biden paraphrased Joseph Stalin. Big surprise. They're going to use the military. They may. And see, it's eventually going to come down to one day closer to death, as we all are. Every one of us. We all qualify for that today. It is going to come down to the military, but hopefully we need the police and the military. We need enough. I think there's enough in the police that see it. I don't know about the military. The military gets kind of funny once you get to a certain level in the like the generals and the admirals and things like that. It gets a little weird. Now, the common man that's in the military, for the most part, they're going to do the right thing. And they're on the right side of history and on the right side of politics. But the people above that, when you get to these general millie types and things like that, these are the people that eventually, I think the part of the military is going to have to say, we don't recognize your command. Whether that's done by force or some other way, I don't know. Um, but we're in such a mess with our system that the system can't fix it. So it's going to be up to the people, one way or the other. And the people includes police and military. They're going to have to finally say, you know what, my bottom line oath is to the Constitution and protecting the American people, or the people, whatever country you're from. And that's where it's got to come down to. Never mind, I'm sure I can't speak to what you're talking about. Well, otherwise, I might get another strike. I have no idea what you're talking about. Never mind. What are you talking about? The integrity of the elections has never been stronger. CNN said that, right? Hey, how about Zucker on CNN? Gone. He's just gone, Barbara. Zucker on CNN resigned today. Poor guy. He only lost 90% of his audience in the last year. So it makes you wonder who's left. Who are the 10% that are still there? Oh, I don't know what video I was watching. I wish I could remember it because I want to give them credit, but I can't remember who it was. But they said wearing a mask is to the left what wearing a mega hat is to the right. So that's the left's mega hat is the mask. Oh, I wish I could remember who said it. It was just the last couple of days I saw it. So sorry there was no stream a couple days ago. What is today? Wednesday. Monday. It would not have been a good stream, guys. It would have been streamus interruptus. One of my symptoms with COVID came back. And I don't want to get graphic, but it makes you go to the bathroom a lot. And it was in strong force on Monday. And you would have had like 3 minutes of stream, 8 minutes of hold, 3 minutes of stream, 8 minutes. It wouldn't have been good. So we didn't do it on Monday. But we're here tonight. We got 30 people. Not bad for Wake the Republic. Well, what used to be Wake the Republic, which is now Flat Earth. Why do I always forget the last name of that? Flat Earth Explored. So I wanted to read something to you. Actually, no, I shouldn't. Well, let me just put it this way. I've been talking about the shadows and showing videos of Wolfie with his 1,000 feet elevation, 1,100 feet, whatever it is. It's less than 2,000. It's less than 1,500, more likely. He's showing sunset from the One World Trade Center, and the angles are upward. It's shining on the ceiling. And I was wondering how long it was going to take before, because see, if you go up, there's a calculator you can use that if you're at 1,000 feet, how much does the horizon drop supposedly? 2,000 feet, whatever height you want to go to, 10 miles, 20 miles, it'll give you, I don't know, 40,000 feet. I think it's supposed to be 3 or 4 degrees. I didn't get that. Polster got it, but I didn't. And like I said, it's hard. There's no good control on an aircraft because the aircraft is moving and it's doing this kind of thing constantly. In any case, the balloon I send up, I'm hoping I can get some decent equipment that'll be able to tell that for us. Not the night launch because that won't help us, I don't think. But as it turns out, even if I went to 4,000 feet, all right, let me make sure I got this right. It would only be 1 degree of upward tilt. Let me see. Hold on. Is it 1 degree for 4,000 feet? Let's see. I'm not seeing what I saw before. If we assume the sun to be 3,000 miles wide, high, let me see. Anyway, uh, the bottom line is at 1,500 feet, 1,000 feet, um, the angle is going to be, if it's, I don't believe it's up at all, but if it was an up angle, it would be so minuscule and slight that you'd never be able to record it. You just never would. And so we'll just have to do this another way. I did find that there was a device that can actually measure extremely accurately the angle of light rays coming into the device. However, from what I can tell, it's probably more than even. We'd have to do a few GoFundMe's because I believe it's going to be about $500,000 for this device. It's used in medicine somehow, but there's got to be other ways to do it. The thing that's got me is because if you have something like this and you're casting a shadow on it, and you're expecting if the sun, if you're looking over the earth and it's moving up like that, first of all, at sunset, you're not going to have very strong of a shadow anyway. That's one thing. And the angle isn't going to be very high. Like I said, even if you go to, 40,000 feet, it's only a couple degrees, whatever it is. It's not much. But what I was thinking was if you had some sort of photoelectric, almost like the old film we used to have in cameras. I know it still exists, but most of us don't use it. If you could have some sort of exposure just at the time of the last sunset that you're seeing, where you expose it for a couple seconds, and then you could see if there's any, if the exposure is less above the top of this or more. I'm not sure if actually it would be the bottom. I think it would be the bottom. If the angle is up, then behind it, if you had this like a separation like this, and I'm going to exaggerate this greatly, the angle of the sun is coming up like this, then the exposure behind it would show that. It would show the exposure actually goes higher than the base of this blocking device. That's as far as my thinking has taken me so far. Trudeau has several doubles, and they're all wimps. Jason. I don't know where to go with this, Stanley. I don't know how much I should touch voting. Probably not at all. Your nephew faked his death to become the young Trudeau. Really, Jason? That should have propagated long ago on YouTube. That is so weird. So does give you Globetrot thumbnails. Hello, Deborah. Hello, hello. So, what's on your guys' minds tonight? Hello, Chipper66, in case I didn't get you earlier. So I'm pretty sure places like Chicago and all that have warmed up. What's the current temperature in Chicago?
In Chicago, Illinois, it's 25 degrees.
Oh, it's all the way up to 25. Let's see. Oh, it's going to snow later, starting at 11 p.m. How about these weather forecasts we get today? They'll say it's going to start snowing in 7 minutes, and it's going to last for 23 minutes and then end. And then in 28 minutes, it's going to come back. It's just amazing stuff we have today. Oh, you're going to have a Saturday in Chicago. This is the place to be, guys. Saturday in Chicago, a high of 19 and a low of 5. So let's convert that to Celsius for our other friends. What is 19 degrees?
It doesn't look like you have an.
Convert 19 degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius.
It's minus 7.2 degrees Celsius.
Minus 7.2. That's the high temperature. Convert 5 degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius.
That would be minus 15 degrees Celsius.
Minus 15 degrees Celsius. How's that? Nice. It's been snowing all that night and all day today. Where are you, Deborah? Oh, you're with Stanley. Yeah, you know what? There's another system. Let me see. It looked like that could set up to be a blizzard too, if you're in the right place. It looked like there was going to be a lot of overrunning with it, which means ice. Let me pull up the national radar right now. It shows trucks in Canada. Come on, populate. Oh yeah, there's the mess. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, it's moving east of you now. Oh, this is going to be a mess. Toronto, you're going to get hit with, if it stays. If you don't get the overrunning, you're going to get a ton of snow. Toronto is. And oh, you're getting ice in central PA, ice in Indiana, ice in southwest Kentucky, southern Illinois. This is just one of those gross storms where even if you're on the rainy side of it, it's like 33 degrees and rain. It's just miserable. Oh, there's a nice storm going on in Texas, Oklahoma area. Big time. Wow. Heavy snow. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Very interesting. There's nothing happening in the Atlantic. I guess the satellites aren't reporting the radar. I'm being facetious, of course. You know, when I showed the pictures of the hurricane and we got the distances and it's too far away. All the other side had left was satellites report precipitation. They report radar. It's like, no, they don't. If I had it, $1 million if you can prove it, because I know it doesn't. Let's see if I can get that photo up for you guys, in case you haven't seen it. Oh, this will work. Probably not the best one, but I can share this one. And there's no way around to see. There's no refraction with radar. Even if there was, it wouldn't be enough. This is a hurricane that was off the coast of North Carolina. This is the outer, you go over there. This is the outer band of it right here. Right there. Let me see if I can get something in. So we take the farthest thing here from the closest radar. The closest radar would be Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. And when you do the math, it would have to be raining from, I think it was 14,000 feet for it to show on radar, because that's how much of the earth curve you would have. And that was an argument too. Oh, it can rain at 14,000 feet. Clouds go up to 20,000 feet, Rich. So what I had to do was I had to show them the precipitation comes from 6,500 feet and below. 6,500 feet and below. 6,500 feet and below. That's where precipitation comes from. And the 6,500 feet is so rare that it's not even worth talking about. Most of your precipitation happens from the surface, just above the surface, if you have what's called scud clouds, to hundreds of feet, 1,000, maybe 2,000 feet. If you're in a warm front situation, that's when it can run up. This is not a warm front situation. This is a hurricane. And I've gotten images even better than this since this one that even go out farther. And so once the precipitation falling from 14,000 feet or whatever was knocked out of the woods, or 20,000 feet, whatever the number was. It was ridiculous. Oh, well, satellites, they're reporting it. It's like, you people, there's just no saving. There's no saving grace. There just isn't. Once stuck in Looney Tune land, always stuck in Looney Tune land. I would love to get on a carrier one more time, just once, so that I can take a picture with my phone of radar showing ships at 80 miles away. I just wish I could do it one more time. I wish I would have known about it then. I would have taken a picture of it. Nevermind says, any good theories that can explain the northern lights on a flat Earth? Is there any good theories that explain it on a globe Earth? What's interesting is we don't have southern lights, do we? I'm convinced the northern lights are a magnetic anomaly. Whether that's caused by the sun or not, maybe, I don't know. But we don't have southern lights as far as I know. Let me look it up. Southern lights. I'll get something like street lights in Louisiana. Well, according to this, you can see them. What's the difference between northern and southern lights? An aurora is a natural electric phenomenon that creates bright and colorful light displays in the sky. In the Arctic Circle, they are known as aurora borealis, or in the northern lights, While in the Antarctic Circle, they are called aurora australis, or southern lights. Let me see something. Let's see some images of these southern lights. Northern and southern lights differ. Yes, they do. Maybe because the southern lights, there's no magnetic pole around it. See, it looks like when you look at the northern lights, wow, they're beautiful, whatever they are. I don't think we actually know, even in the globe model, what it is. I think it's one of those, this is what it is. Let's hope they don't ever ask how we know for sure. So I don't know. It's something we can't go out and test, that's for sure. They should know for sure because NASA uses up all the helium. They should be able to raise balloons up to that high and see what's going on. Poster X has sent a video, in case you haven't heard this before, and he does show where there is a crisscross of the extreme. At least that's what he says. I'm trying to get it verified, which can cause the umbra penumbra. However, there are still major problems, which I have not. As you know, I tend to do these things, especially if I get on a tall horse about something. There's some details I haven't talked about yet that would still negate the umbra penumbra in their model, but I haven't talked about that yet. But I will. Jason, how did you figure to do that? False negative, one of the home. You know what? When I got COVID, I could not find a test. I couldn't find a place to go get tested, and I couldn't find a test kit anywhere. And horse dewormer is yummy because in 10 hours, that horse dewormer will make you feel much better. At least me, I can speak to myself. It was a true blue miracle. And my doctor said in 5 days, if you feel perfect, don't take any more. I still wasn't perfect, so I took it for 2 more days. I took it for 7 days. And then I was perfect. I mean, I still have like, a little residual stuff. But I felt perfect on the 7th day. Compare that to people to go in and get treated somewhere else by other methods. 10 hours, guys. 10 hours after my treatment started, I knew I was going to be fine. I thought I was going to be fine anyway because I keep my immune system pretty healthy and stuff like that. You guys know that. But I'm not giving medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I'm a meteorologist. I'm a pseudo PhD in physics, and makes me an expert on the Coriolis effect. And for me personally, my physician, who has a sheepskin like everybody else, says they're a doctor, they prescribed horse dewormer for me, ivermectin. There you go. There's another witness, Deanna. And you know what? Guess what? I don't know. Well, my understanding is, I could be wrong, but my understanding is if you go to the hospital, they want to test you, because if you test positive and you're in the hospital, that's an extra $5,000, $5,000 for the hospital. If you end up on a ventilator, I don't know why they push ventilators, but if you end up on a ventilator, my understanding is they get an extra $15,000. Now, those numbers might be off, but I think that's what it is. And you know what happens once you get to that stage? It's not good. So how much are they charging? You know, what's that drug? What's that other drug that they were given for, begins with an R? It's the one I can never pronounce. Remdesivir or something like that. I think it's $1,000 some a dose. Right? $1,000 some a dose. This, the horse parasitical pill, you know what? Here's the deal. Well, we'll get to that in a second. $5 a dose. $5 a dose. It's one a day. Okay. And I took it for 7 days. So that was $35. She happened to give me 10 just in case. But she said a lot of people after 5, they're fine. And I could have probably stopped after 5 days, but I wanted to feel perfect and I didn't want to take the chance. So, and guess what? She gave me God bless her. She gave me a refill. So I've got 10 sitting in the cabinet. How's that? But remdesivir, thank you, Deanna. Jan Denny 65. Hello, Randy. Thanks. Hit the like. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, we're getting up to 42 now on this channel. Interesting. So for $5, 7 days, that's $35. And me personally, I'm fine. Once, yeah, Sticks. That is Sticks. Now listen now. Remember 1985, doublespeak? Do not listen to Sticks. Sticks is not a registered doctor. I happen to know this. And he might have a -P after his PhD, like me. But anyway, this is not what the CDC says. That the CDC says treat it that way, I think. So always go with that. Oh, 0 to 4-year-olds. You mean the ones that never have symptoms? Weren't we told at first? This is what we were told by Anthony Fauci, PH crap, and that most people 20 years of age and younger, he may have said teens, will get it and not even know they had it. Their immune system is so good that they won't even know they had it at all, or they have very, very mild symptoms. And we know the death rate for that age group is unbelievably minuscule. Unbelievably minuscule. I believe it's less than the common flu. Way less than the common flu. Yeah, Stanley, you got that right. So, I mean, you have to go by your own common sense and what you think is right. I had no hesitation, none, with what to do. I got sick on Friday. Well, I started coughing on Friday, and I still have a little bit of whatever, little teeny bit of congestion. That's mostly what I have left. Um, so you might hear me doing that, and a little bit of sniffles. That's it. I get that just from you guys know, just from allergies. They know that the ball Earth has a molten core. Yeah, they know it, and all those certain layers miles down. But a man has never dug more than roughly 8 miles down in the Russia Cola project. Yes, Stanley, and they admitted in that project that they said we actually don't know. We don't even know about the Earth's crust. We were wrong about the Earth's crust. So how are they going to tell you what's so many miles down and what's in the middle? And yet the other side just in the head goes into the belief system, absolute 100% truth. And then they'll look at a star or some planet light years away and say, oh, it's got the same kind of core as the Earth does. Oh, interesting rethink. It's the pure bloods that can still think properly. Interesting. PhD theoretical doctor. Oh, yeah. PhD equals, it should be PHIND, indoctrinated. Purely indoctrinated. That's what it should be. PIND. Hello, Sherry. Yeah, Stanley. Yeah, never mind. You got it. You also know the magnitude of the magnetic field on Pluto and the composition of its core. You can't make the crap up. You just can't make it up. And I still want to see. I got to look this up while I'm thinking about it. The object that touched the sun. They recently spewed out that kind of crap. Parker Solar Probe, Parker. Parker. Oh, wait a minute. It was December 1903 when the Wright brothers made the first controlled, sustained, and powered flight opening of the world aviation. But hundreds of years earlier, before anybody left the Earth, they declared it was round and spinning. Just over 100 years later, humans have now touched the sun. The Parker space probe became the first human-made object to venture into the sun's atmosphere known as the corona. Just come on. And why do they have to give you this? And you go into the article, it's giving you the same Wright brothers crap again. Oh my God, you talk about this thing wants me to sign into more things than you need to do to travel overseas. The Parker Solar Probe was launched in 2018 to explore the mysterious world of our sun. Notice how many, look, you go to BP Earthwatch, click on the cartoon channel, the section on the left that takes you to NASA, and you can see all these different cartoons of the sun all over the place. 24/7, supposedly you're looking at the sun. Why don't we have one channel that's looking at the Earth from one of these satellites out there? Oh, we do, Rich. It's from the weather. No, it's not looking at. I'm sorry. You're getting strips put together. I know because I used to deal with them. NASA said to perform these unprecedented investigations, the spacecraft and instruments are being protected from the sun's heat by a 4.5-inch thick carbon composite shield, which can withstand temperatures. Outside the spacecraft that reached nearly 1,377 degrees Celsius. A 4.5 inch. Why didn't they use this 4.5-inch thick carbon composite shield then on the bottom of the space shuttle or on the bottom of returning astronauts from the moon? You can't make this stuff up. See, it's a carbon composite, so you can't say, okay, what is, let me see. You'll never know what that composite's made of, I don't think. All right, what were we given? We were given convert 1,377 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit.
2,510.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, see, carbon's got a melting point of 6,422 degrees or 3,550. So they're using a carbon. Oh, and carbon, of course, doesn't pass heat through it like charcoal on a grill. You know, that's carbon. That's something different. Why is the melting point? Of course, see, the melting point isn't the big thing. Covalent bonds. Oh, you know what? I have an indoctrinated but awake chemist in the family. Oh, why does carbon have no melting point? Carbon doesn't really have a melting point. You just gave us one. To the degree, carbon bonds to other elements covalently. And most importantly, carbon has the ability to bond to other carbon atoms, making really long chains. Here's the structure of a diamond and graphite. They are really stable structures. Oh, so that was why carbon has no melting point. You know what the next one is? Why does carbon have 3 melting points? It's all gobbledygook in their own science. Oh, it's a joke. It's a joke. Who could have water fasted for 2 weeks and dropped 20 pounds? Unless they're going to last in space for the first time. For the 12th time. Yeah. There's a guy I met at the gym. He's from Saudi Arabia. Really nice guy. We got to talking, things like that. And the next day when he came in, he had a NASA shirt on. I was like, oh, guess I won't be going there. Shatner is so thick that he is the heat shield for this device, this Parker device. His belly is made out of covalent carbon. Did you notice? We showed the video last week. He didn't get the memo when to float. He wasn't floating, but everybody else was, and they were in space, but you could still see the atmosphere. It was still blue sky. And because the people are just accept. Oh, look, there's Shatner in space. And he even said there was a strict weight limit. I think it was 210 pounds or so. Shatner didn't make that weight limit. That was in his left leg. You kidding me? Oh, maybe that's why he didn't float. He was so dense, literally and figuratively, that he just couldn't float. That's right. Never mind. 1.3, probably 1.4 trillion dollars now. I'm just going to up it, round it up, inflation and all that too. 1.4 trillion dollars for NASA, and we get our 12th harvest of lettuce that could feed 2 rabbits for 2 days. That's right. Shatner had his own gravitational pull. They actually had to do mathematics to figure out because the device they were in was actually orbiting Shatner and the Earth. Shatner actually moved the Lagrange point closer. That's why you could still see the atmosphere. You still think Shatner is she? Like Trudeau? They're both from Canada. NASA subspace communicators from Star Trek. You can throw an apple at Shatner, and it'll start an elliptical orbit. Stanley says 30 more thumbs up. How many do we have? I can't view that. Oh, yeah, JT. I forgot about that. There was something about Shatner and his wife, wasn't there? Never mind, because Mr. Shatner linked to the Muscle Fast program. Ooh. Here's what I think. What do you think about this, guys? Let me run this past you. I think I know what I'm going to do with the Muscle Fast program. I think I'm going to sell the program like I was going to. I'm going to make a video series of the whole thing. I've actually, believe it or not, because a lot of people are waiting for this, the shoulder one. I've actually started my notes for that. That's the hard part. It really is. That and the editing at the end. Those are the two hardest parts. In between, it's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm pretty sure the program is going to be X amount of dollars. And it's going to be cheaper than I was thinking. But, and it's their option, I'm going to have a low cost, I'm thinking $7 a month, where at least once a month, probably twice a month, I do a one-on-one with a group of no more than 10 people. And of course, at first, it'll just be one-on-one with the one or two, three people, whatever that signed up for the program. And they can ask me anything. It'll be private session. And then if we need to go actually more private or whatever, we can probably, I have to work that out because everybody will be like, I need 15 minutes. And then before you know it, you got two and a half hours more than all the hours in a month booked. But it's going to be something like that, where it's going to be a monthly thing where you can ask me anything. So as you progress in your journey, you're going to have issues. You're going to get injured. Even if you don't lift, you're going to get injured. You're going to get sick, and you're going to know how to come back. And you might get at a sticking point, or something's not working right with your diet, or whatever. So I figured, a low monthly fee where they can hop on and just ask any questions, and other people, they can hear other people. Like I said, I'm going to limit it to probably 10 per session, per group. And people can see how other people have solved issues and things like, because I haven't obviously gone through everything. I mean, I've gone through a lot in 40 years with lifting and with diet and different things like that. But there's always a new experience that somebody else can share that can probably help. So I'm thinking about doing it that way. I think it'll be show 46 thumbs up. That's pretty good considering we got 43 people here. That's really good. I see Jad people not in here everywhere. There was another good video. Did you see this video? It was this woman on TikTok, obviously from the South, very strong Southern accent. I would put her at Southern Georgia. She didn't sound exactly like Alabama, so maybe Mississippi. But anyway, she was very, very good. She said there's 4 groups of people. There's the group that aren't vaccinated. She said they're over on this side. And therefore, they don't, if you want to get vaccinated or not get vaccinated, that's your choice. She said, then you had the people that are vaccinated, but they had to do it out of fear of losing their job, or it was mandated, or maybe they couldn't make money for their family, something like that. These people, she said, they belong over here too, because they're also for freedom, for you to be able to get your own, make you up your own mind, whether you want to do. Then there was a third group, and I can't quite remember what it was, but they're over there too. Um, they're in the situation where they think you have the medical right to say yes or no. Then you have the moronics, actually, the one little group on the left who are vaccinated and think you're the problem with the world if you're not. And it should be dictated to you, and you have no right to say yes or no to it. The people that want to tax you for not getting vaccinated, that type of people. Randy, you're from Mississippi. My son Michael was just in Mississippi yesterday. He started a moving company, and although he was working for somebody else for this, but they moved somebody from Arizona to Charlotte, North Carolina. And yesterday they were on the way. They're all done now, but he checked in from Mississippi, and he lucked out. He picked a good week to travel because it was no snow or ice down there or anything. But he's coming back now, and I just saw what's happening in Texas. That's not good. Jason, yeah. Then there are the ones that are dead. What do you like better, Randy, Ohio or Mississippi? One day closer. What do you describe? What is your definition of pure blood? I'm getting replacement credit cards or debit cards, and they all have this new technology where you just tap it and it registers it. And I just can't help but feel that they're really getting us ready for the chip. Just tap it. It's just all developing that way. Oh, I got you one day, unjabbed. Okay. Not even Charlie is a pure blood. Oh, I found a video today of Charlie when he was 2 months old. Oh my God, he was so adorable. You like the cold? Do you like watching snow, Randy? Rumor has they send a signal Bluetooth can detect. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure, JT. Everything is Bluetooth today. You know what I'm doing? I uploaded a video on Muscle Fast today, and it was a video I took off my phone. And there's a little cost $4 a piece. You have to buy two, but there's this little device. You just click it from a distance, and it connects to your phone, and It'll take a picture or start a video or stop it if you click it again. It's very convenient for what I'm doing. But everything is Bluetooth. You know what I can't find that works? I need to get a microphone that'll work with an iPhone 12. And I've been through three of them. Not one will work. One was a Bluetooth, and it would connect for a second and then go away. Then the other two connected into what do they call it, the C connection or whatever it is on the iPhone. I can't remember what they call it. And so it doesn't need Bluetooth. As soon as it connects in, it uses the phone's power and it blinks. And then you have the other device blink, and then that would work for a few seconds, and then it would pop up and say, "This device is not supported." So I don't know, but I would love to have a. Charlie is my dog. Charlie is my dog, and he has been on the show before. In fact, here's a picture of Charlie. He woke up from a nightmare, and he thought, come on, he thought that Joe Biden was his owner. Remember, Joe Biden's dog died, and we told him maybe he'll get another dog. Well, Charlie heard about that, and he thought Joe Biden was going to be his new dad. So luckily, I was able to capture it, and here it is. Whoops, that was his. Give you a little closer look. Charlie's a funny dog. He gets some funny expressions. But anyway, I sent that to my family. They all got a kick out of it. Yeah, killing dead. You know the deal with iPhones is I would have never probably picked an iPhone as my choice, but when I was still working, my company they bought us iPhones. That was they got us deal with iPhones, and that's what I got used to. That's why I have iPhones. Um, Once I get used to something and know how it works, I hate to try to switch over to something else. Sissy May, happy birthday! Officially 70. Good for you. Three score and 10. It's in the Bible, Sissy. Three score and 10. And if by strength, four score. You may have 10 more years, if by strength, or even more. Stanley says, looking forward to it. Oh, okay, working out. Used to be so into my workout regime. Now in my mid 40s, although I work hard at my job or any side job I do, I need to get back in shape. Yeah, it makes a difference. It does make a difference. I swear it does. With everything in daily life, carrying groceries, all of a sudden you have to sprint after something, or like Charlie running away. Charlie is America's dog. Oh, thank you, Jason. But yeah, it makes a difference. And so, like I said, for you guys, if you're interested, I'm going to once the show you'll see how I'm going to do this. Now, the shoulder program is different than Muscle Fast. Muscle Fast has some peculiar things in it that are not in this program. It's because the shoulders are worked differently. If you do the Muscle Fast program, chances are you're going to get so strong, this is no lie, that the stack of weights at the gym eventually will not be enough. And you have to do like my brother. Well, I ordered a pin off of Amazon so I can put the pin in and add a 10-pound plate or 20 pounds or 25, whatever. And the Amazon thing is kind of small and dinky, and I'm always worried about falling out. In fact, it did once, only once. So I had my brother. He does everything. He made me one that's very, very nice. But the one thing that Muscle Fast will give you, it is unbelievable strength because you don't lift the way everybody else does. In fact, I'm 61, and on the triceps, I can't think of one person that's stronger than me. Maybe one that I've seen in the last year. And when they are, they're like their arms are like this. They're obviously whatever. I just recently did the stack with narrow grip rows. I'm ready to add more to that, so I'll need to bring the pin for that one soon. The pec fly for chest, I've added as much as 20 pounds. In fact, I took a picture of that, and I got to do a video about this too. The mental state is so important, and it's never talked about. Pardon me. That's a little bit of what's left over. It's never talked about. There was I wanted to, with the pec fly machine, it goes to 295 pounds. And once I got strong enough to be able to do that, then there's two little fives that are hooked into it that you can drop down one at a time. So you can add up to 10 pounds. So once I did that and I could do more than that, then I got the pin and I stuck a 10 in there. Then I eventually had 20, but then it was kind of tweaking my shoulder. So I was like, I don't want to push it beyond this. I can't do it today, but I can still do close to that. It's just I don't push it because of my shoulder. Now, normally, after I do that and set a new PR, a new personal record, I think I did 4 or 5 reps. And usually I require 4 reps before I call it a personal record. So I did, what was it? So it was 320. No, it was actually 325. I don't know how I got 325 on there. Maybe I put 25 pounds on there. But I did it. And normally the second set, because that's so exhausting, because you're pushing so hard for that much weight, that you would take all the weight I added off and just do the stack and maybe the 2 5s. That's what I wanted to do. So I did that, set it up. And I was like, oh, you know what? I want to send a picture of this to Michael to show him that I did it. So I set it back up and took a picture. And then I went and I time everything. If you get Muscle Fast, and it's going to be free to you guys if you want it. I usually go 3 minutes on that machine right there in between sets when I'm doing heavy. So I'm waiting for the time to go by. I'm setting up my music or whatever I'm doing. And so my thing is, okay, I want to be able to still do 4 reps with the stack after I did something that heavy, the stack plus 25 pounds or whatever it was, 30 pounds, or whatever it was, doesn't matter. So I get the first rep and I'm like, man, this is really heavy. And I was like, no, I am going to do this so I can say I can still do the stack 2 sets in a row. And I did. I got 4 reps. And I turned around and I forgot to take those weights off. I did the exact same thing twice. But my mindset was, I was convinced that I was only doing the stack. I can guarantee you, if I didn't fool myself that way, it's like the placebo effect. I wouldn't have been able to do it. And that's happened a couple of times. Not usually that dramatic, but where I think, okay, now I'm at 180, I'm going to drop to 160. And for whatever reason, I get distracted and I don't drop it. And then the next set, I do it. I'm like, man, that was hard for dropping 20 pounds. I look back and I didn't drop 20 pounds. It's just amazing how the brain works. Pooping Android, you were snoozing, huh? You snooze, you lose, right? Good to see you. Sissy May, happy birthday. Kill him dead. I really need a change in habit and laziness. I'm the heaviest and in the worst shape I've been in my life. I'm not super heavy, but 6'2" and 218. I've got a full-blown dad bod. How old are you, Kill him dead? Joe Mama, you're 6'1" also. Or 61 also. I was going to say I'm 6'3". Yeah, but now the things I'm hindered with, like I've got shoulder issues, I've got neck issues, back issues, leg issues. When I'm encumbered, I'm not the strongest, but when I'm unencumbered, there aren't many people any age that can beat me. I'm serious. LA Young. I do have a workout channel, LA Young. It's called Muscle Fast. It's called Muscle Fast. In fact, I'll show it to you real fast. Pardon me a moment. It gives you that dry feeling in your throat post-COVID. At least mine does. Okay. Where are we? I've got a lot less tabs open. You should be proud of me this time. I only have like 30 instead of 3,000. I'm getting there. I'm slowly getting my act together on that. Here it is. Muscle Fast. 91 subscribers, and I think all but 2 are from these people here who are so kind to help me out, because I'm trying to get to 300 there so I can use a regular URL, but it'll get there. And I haven't done anything to advertise the channel or anything yet, but I think I will. Hello, Jacob Law. Yeah, check it out, LA Young. And it's musclefast.net also is the website. And that has all my, and everything in MuscleFast is in playlists and on the website as well. Both of them are in playlists. So if you're into certain things, there's not much there. I think there's 11 or 12 videos on the channel now. I got to start cranking out more content. But I'm going to do this shoulder program first. And then the Muscle Fast program. And what that means is it's nothing simple with this. That means I have to set up a membership on my membership thing on my website. So if you pay for it, then you're a member, and then you can have access. And for you guys, I'll just make it access without paying. So that's the way it'll be for there. First, one day closer to death. Good night. Good night. Must see video on BitChute. The eternal pandemic. It is eternal. They were 2 hours long and loaded with great info. This is what the Bible meant by everlasting fire, the everlasting pandemic. Well, thank you, Randy. I appreciate you. Keeping Android work third shift and weekend starting Thursday night. Need to get back on schedule if I can make it work tomorrow with the snow here in Michigan. Oh, thank God. Thank God I live in Arizona. Elliot Young says the word out there is Earth is flat. That's the word I get. Pure bloods. 36 dad bod is because I have 4 sons. That actually, there is truth to that. There is truth to that, Killing Dead, because you're so busy with the kids and doing stuff and taking them and getting them clothing and making sure they're fed and taking them to cruddy places like, oh my God, like they all had this pizza place they went to, Chuck E. Cheese. I'm sure it's probably still around. I don't think it's out here in Arizona. Maybe it is. I haven't seen it. But on the East Coast, oh my God, you talk about gross food that'll kill you just looking at it. There was some disgusting stuff that no government if there was a real FDA, they wouldn't allow that kind of food for kids. You just wouldn't. It's just gross stuff. It's like cardboard. The Earth got Charlie Ward to see flat Earth. Oh, and did Charlie Ward? Are you saying Charlie Ward sees it, or he just looked at it? In other words, did he become a believer? Sherry A, thank you. I appreciate that. And you know what? I would be doing you all real solid if I gave you the link. And when you see the link, you'll see why I want to get 300 people to make it very easy. Because then you can make it YouTube/C/MuscleFast. Now that's the link to it. I don't mind Chuck E. Cheese. We don't eat there, but for games. Well, that's good, Kill 'em Dead, because Chuck E. Cheese could be changed to Kill 'em Dead. My kids play for fun, and I use the school games to win them tickets. Oh, that's good. That's nice. Yeah, I remember I used to do that. Remember that, what's the thing where you bowl, and there's these concentric circles? Aren't all circles concentric, I guess. Anyway, you have these concentric circles, and the bullseye's in the middle. And you get so many tickets, the more points you get. And I was just a master at just knowing how to roll that thing to get it in the center every single. In fact, I curved it, and it would like hop off the edge, go right in the center every time, and it would just spit him out. My son would be like, "Thanks, Dad." Yes, he believes. Awesomeness. There you go, Stanley. About 20 years ago, I ate Chuck E. Cheese and White Castle. In case you don't know what White Castle is, in the same day, nobody wanted to be near me for 2 to 3 days. Oh my God! Probably your Your internal organs didn't even want to be near you. Oh, White Castle. Talk about the crappiest bread that you can put around hamburgers. White Castle, in case you don't know, there's these little, there are mini hamburgers. They would sell them by the bag. I don't know how many in the bag, but it was, instead of crapple and rye, it was crapple and white. Ski ball, ski ball, ski ball, ski ball. Why can't I place that? Ski ball. Ski ball. What is ski ball? I gotta look at. I know what it is. I just can't. I'm brain dead on it. It's not been good at it. Oh, that is it. Oh, okay. That is it. I never knew it was called that. Oh, they got different ones. Sometimes the big money's up top. I see 100. The one I had always had the biggest one in the center. Like this machine here, you can't see it. Yeah, the biggest one was in the center. That's the kind I remember. And we used to be inventive when we were kids. Maybe it's because we were so poor. But we would invent stuff like we would dig holes in our yard, cut the grass real low, and charge the neighbor kids to come over. We give them uh, putters, and they could play putt putt. You know the game putt putt. And we had bowling. I actually collected 10 real bowling pins from the bowling alley, and they let me have them. And we used to charge for people to go bowling. We made up our own. My grandfather, after he died, we went to his garage, and there was this motor. It just had a thing on it and a spinning wheel. And my brother tied a rope on it. My brother was not he's a good Christian now, but not then. And he tied a rope with a knot on it, and he put it around a bicycle wheel, and he put different colors on there, and the kids could come and bet whatever color or number, whatever it was, and to win, just like roulette. And however, my brother knew, like if somebody didn't bet the number of 5, let's say, and he wanted 5 to come up, he would watch that knot in the rope, and when it got to a certain point, he knew if he clicked it off, it would stop on 5. He was bad. Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, there was a flat Earth believer. Good, very good. Dave Snedeker is a flat earther also. I don't even know who that is, Sissy May. Am I going to be doing nutritional and supplemental information on the new channel? Doo-doo-doo. I know it's not clear. This is a different system than I used to have, but we already talked about boron on here once. But to answer the question now, I'm not going to be. I don't know how specific. The only thing I've done, I think, so far on nutrition, I think I've done one video, and it has to do with carbohydrates post workout. I think that's what I did. Let me see. That's what's cool about everything being in a category. If you go to the site musclefast.net and go to categories, everything is all nice and neat for you. Just click on it. Why is this under nutrition? Anyway, the value of eating carbohydrates post workout, but there's going to be other things. It's actually I'm more of a there'll be specifics for those that do muscle fast, but the bottom line is it is calories in, calories out for the most part. Now there are other factors For example, I recently, I don't think you've been here much recently, Randy, but I've talked about how no matter how much I eat, I can't gain weight. I was actually losing weight. I was happy at 203 to 205, went all the way down to 191, eating like crazy. But protein, mostly protein. There's a thermogenic effect of protein. And what most people don't know, and I didn't even know this until recently, is if you don't eat carbohydrates at all, how does your body get energy? Well, it can, there's something called neoglucogenesis. And all that means is it'll get carbohydrates from other than carbohydrate sources. Fats can break down into essential fatty acids and triglycerides and other things like that. And you can eventually get energy out of that. Protein is the same thing. It can eventually be broken down if the body needs energy. It can actually make carbohydrates from the protein. However, that's a process that burns calories, just that doing it. And here's the deal. Let's say you only need, this is fantastic. This is one of the best things I've learned recently. Michael is the nutritionist in the family. I'm the exercise specialist. So we go hand in glove with stuff. And he just passed on to me that this neoglucogenesis will happen with demand, but only with demand. So if you need energy and you only needed 200 grams of protein today, only I say, and you had 400 grams of protein, what happens to all that extra protein? Well, yeah, it is calories in, calories out, but if your body needs energy, it'll take that protein and start breaking it down, neoglucogenesis, and make the energy, glucose, carbohydrate energy you need. However, if the body doesn't need it, it won't break it down. That's one interesting factor. The other interesting factor is if I was to draw three different lines, hopefully you can see this backwards for me. Pardon me a moment. Let's adjust the microphone so I don't keep slamming you guys like I probably already have. My apologies if I have. These are spikes in insulin. All right, spikes in insulin cause fat storage. Bottom line. No, not right. I'm not Mr. Technical, so I'm not going to go into all the little details. You don't need to know the details. You just need to know what's actually happening. I hate to watch these things and they get in it and they're talking for 17 minutes about the molecular structure of why this happens. Who cares? Just give me the bottom line. Should I eat it or not? Carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates. See this spike? The higher the spike, and actually I drew that wrong. I should have. Look at the line I put on it. All right. Right here. It spikes and it stays spiked for a while, for quite a while, and then it starts dropping off. That whole time, your body can store fat. Insulin will store fat. Without insulin, you're not going to store fat. How's that? This one here, this is if you eat something like starchy carbs. And again, I drew this wrong. The starchy carbs, all right, they don't spike as high, but they last longer than eating a donut. So if you eat a potato, and this is in that video, by the way, some of this, but then down here's the protein. Yeah, it causes a raise in insulin, but not much. And it goes away pretty quickly. And if you need sugar from this, so to speak, it will break it down. But the process of breaking it down causes it's energy. It's energy that needs to be used to break it down. So protein is very thermogenic. I got to the point to where I could not eat enough to sustain my weight. Now, part of that is I've got a lot of muscle weight on me, and I got to single digit body fat. Once you get there, no matter where you are, your body tries to stay where you are. Believe it or not. If you're too fat, your body really wants to stay too fat. It does. Your body doesn't like change. Your body says, and of course, none of this is perfect, but your body says, "Oh, I'm surviving just great at 40 pounds overweight. I'm going to sustain that 40 pounds. I'm not going to make it easy for Rich to lose that 40 pounds because we're doing just fine with it." And the body doesn't realize, well, maybe the heart's working too hard, or maybe this is happening, or maybe our arteries are getting clogged. It doesn't go into that. But the same thing happens when you get enough muscle on you. The body says, "Oh, I'm going to try to maintain that muscle at all costs." And here's something interesting, just as a side note. And I've talked about this before. Michael, when he got COVID, he was already massively cutting, but he was about 12% body fat. He wanted to get down to single digits. He got COVID and he lost, I want to say 12 pounds, maybe even more. And so he started at 12% body fat. He lost 12 pounds in like 8 days. And his percent body fat at the end of that was 12%. He didn't lose any fat whatsoever. There's a guy I know that goes to the gym, and he's rather lean. He's very lean. He's 10%. I think he's a wrestler. And all of a sudden, he wasn't there for a while, and he came back in, and he was much smaller. He said he had COVID. He said, "I lost all my gains." Well, that's what happened with Michael. He lost all the muscle gains. And then I read an article that COVID screws up your fat cells. It really does. It goes after the fat cells. And this is why obese people have a higher mortality rate. Then the body says, "Oh, there's something wrong with these fat cells. I'm not going to use them. They're sick right now. I'm going to leave them alone." And so it goes after muscle and other things for energy. So it tears that down. So this is why people that, more than anything else, obesity is the number one comorbidity factor with, and I'm not making this up or whatever YouTube. This is from the CDC or from papers. COVID messes with the fat cells. X22, not sure if he is. Doubt it. It depends. It depends. If the Patriots say it's flat, then it's flat. You have a liver problem. What is your liver problem, Randy? Did we talk about this last time? Are you the one that had cancer, but it's gone, but then you have cirrhosis? I'm telling you, TUDCA, NAC and TUDCA. Yeah, so we did talk about this. It really works. I have a very sensitive liver, and I take all kind of different supplements, and sometimes I take something that screws me up. And what is it that gave me the high liver values at one time? Oh, if you take creatine, by the way, you have a good chance of your doctor saying you have stage 3 kidney disease. That's what I was told. I was like, "Excuse me?" And I know my kidneys aren't messed up. She goes, "You have stage 3 kidney disease according to the blood work." I said, "Are the creatinine levels too high?" She said, "Yes." And then there's one other thing, I can't even remember what it's called now. I said, "Is that out of whack?" It's a ratio. She goes, "Yes." I said, "That's caused by creatine intake." They don't even know this stuff. I said, "That's caused by creatine intake." And they should know because a lot of people take creatine. And creatine isn't just for bodybuilders. Creatine is actually good for many other things in your body, including cognitive health. Yeah. Randy, hold on just a moment. Trying to find my brand. Well, it's let me show you, Randy. If you're like me, which probably most people aren't, I'm a visual learner. I need to see stuff. This is why I get in trouble with their solar system or whatever, because I'm not good at visualization. Working on it. There you go, Randy. See this? Tudca, Tudca. Let me see. Neutral costs. The boron I get is from them. I trust them on the boron. I've had this brand right here. I don't believe in it. I can't tell you why, but I do not like this brand. This is by awarded best Tucka, huh? I don't know if you see this kind of. It's a guy standing there with this blue thing. I wasn't impressed. Oh, you know what? I know how to tell you my brand because I get it on Amazon. Which Amazon is falling apart, by the way. They're delivering to the wrong places. They don't deliver half the time. We're sorry, it's running late. And then it just never comes. So you got to cancel it. Sometimes you even pay for it. Pay for it to be here by 11 o'clock tomorrow. 11 o'clock tomorrow comes. Oh, we're sorry, it's running late. You can cancel if you want. Thanks. If I knew it was going to be like that, I'd have just gone out and got it myself. Because if I rush something to pay extra to rush it, that means I need it. That's usually a medicine or something like that. Let me see. Why do I have to? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Let me log in. It's showing my stuff, but then it's telling me I have to log in. How crazy is that? Yep, that was the one I said don't get it. I did get it again. I did get that. I just verified it. All right, here's the brand I get. It's Maxi Life Naturals. I'll share the screen. You make sure there's nothing I'm not supposed to be sharing here first. All right, looks like we're good. You never know. You never know. There it is. This is more expensive than others I've seen on here. And look at this. It knows I want this MCT oil, but I don't have any money. I have to wait on payday. That's important too, MCT oil, I think. All you have to do is since you have an issue, I would take 2 of these a day. So this would only last, this is going to cost you $1 a day. But it's Maxi Life Naturals. And I trust this brand. Tucka liver support supplement, Tucka 500 milligrams, 60 servings, liver cleanse. I would take one in the morning, one in the evening, Randy, if it was me. Liver rescue, aid, bile salts, Tucka bile salt, assist liver detox, cleanse Tucka. I never knew about Tucka until about a year ago. But this is why I say all the time, I get more information that's real and legit. They've even diagnosed me by watching people that take steroids and pro hormones and other performance enhancing drugs. They are some of the smartest people you ever run into. So I subscribed to them on YouTube, and the one of them was going into all this stuff. And I was like, man, that sounds like me. That sounds like me. And then he said it was pituitary gland, which I do have an issue with my pituitary gland. And he said it causes sweating problems. And I have sweating problems. I didn't know I did. They did a test. And my indoctrinated MD specialist, because you have to pay extra for a specialist, right? Neurologist, he said, I talked it over with my colleagues, and the only thing we can come up with is you have MS, multiple sclerosis. And I'm like, goodbye. I just wasted my money. Yeah, the doctors, look, Randy, most people don't know this. I'm waiting to get N-acetylcysteine once again from bulk supplements, but they don't have it in the capsule form, and it's just nasty. It smells bad. It works fantastic, but it smells bad. Now, you can get NAC from other vendors where it doesn't smell bad, but I don't know how good it is. I've had it before, but NAC, 600 milligrams, that's N-acetylcysteine, which the government just tried to get rid of, make you get a prescription for. It's all natural. You take that twice a day too. NAC. And you have to watch, because NAC can come in those big, hard, concentric coated horse pills. I mean, they're like, shaped like the Pentagon, not the Pentagon. They're shaped like a suppository, and they don't go down the throat very easy. I had to give my neighbor something from Amazon 3 times. Oh man, Randy, you would not believe. There was one day last week. It was 3 strikes, you're out. My brother-in-law, my sister and brother-in-law wanted to send me a pulse ox because I had COVID. So they overnighted it, delivered to the wrong address. Saw the pictures, like, no, that's not my house. Then the second thing that was supposed to be delivered was one of those, oh, it's delayed. We're sorry. So I canceled it. And then the third thing was, it was NyQuil, so I can get some symptom relief at night so I could sleep from the COVID. But once I took my first ivermectin, that fixed that. But doctors, you would think the most important thing is what you ingest in your body, right? Food. Who was it that said medicine is food is thy medicine, and medicine is thy food? Was it Hippocrates? The beginning of all physicians? Well, anyway, most doctors, most physicians have zero nutrition information that they took in school. Zero. Optional. You ready for this? Optional. 2 weeks. You can take an optional 2 weeks course in nutrition if that's what you so choose. There you go. Never mind. It said most doctors are taught to keep the problem going and just treat the symptoms. And they don't overtly think of it that way. I agree with you, never mind, but they don't even overtly think it that way. They're so indoctrinated that they think the pharmaceuticals have the answer to everything. They don't even think along the lines of cure. The only cure or fix would be, oh, you broke a bone. Okay, we'll set it so it grows back right. That type of deal. Got anything from Swanson Vitamins online? There you go. If you trust the brand, go for it. Like I said, stay away from those intentric, however you say it, intentric coated things they're just hard. No, they're not even that. It's like it's raw. It's like it's concrete. There's no slipperiness to it. It's not enteric coated. And they're hard, and they're sort of an oval, but it's more of a rectangle. I don't know who came up with that stuff, but that's horrible. I have no idea, Mark Harris, on the 5G, and I would say much less is probably implemented than we think. Anna, can you set up Amazon list of products you would recommend and get a percentage? I don't know. Probably. That's an interesting idea, Anna. If I can get it on Amazon, I'll get it just because I don't like going out to the stores. And especially now when I have to go out there and see the left's mega hat all the time, the mask. I just don't, I want to be happy in my day. I don't want to be around that. Rockefeller Foundation run medicine in the country. You read a few weeks ago that since 1973, the Hippocratic Oath is optional. Yeah, it's optional. Thou shalt do no harm, especially if it but if it brings in cash, forget about that. I sent my best friend my last 3 ivermectin from my first. It's probably not enough, but I was talking to him about ivermectin, and I did remember where I found this. It was on DuckDuckGo. Because it's not just. Oh, what I was going to say before was. Pardon me a moment. See if I got this for you. Oh, come on. It's not here. Many of you have probably taken drugs that are anti-parasitical. They'll kill parasites, but that's not what they're for you. But the mainstream media has latched onto that as that's what that medicine is for, and it is. It does that, but it has many medicines have several things that they do. And you have probably taken other drugs that kill parasites, but that you had no idea it did that, and it fixed your problem. And you know there's a problem when this doctor first prescribed ivermectin for Michael when he had COVID. And when she went to the pharmacies and they kept saying, nope, can't give it to you, can't give it. Finally, one of them said, we used to have it, but they took it away from us. A doctor prescribes it, and the pharmacy can't give it to you because the government took the drug from the pharmacies, so they couldn't give it to you. You don't have to do much reading between the lines for what that's about. MMS is worth looking into. I don't know what MMS is, I don't think. Beat with Thunder. What's MMS? And for a while, you couldn't get NAC recently. Guess what NAC is? It's a glutathione precursor. It creates. Look at what glutathione does for you. It does a lot of stuff for you in your system. But along with helping the liver and the kidneys, NAC, it's just amazing what it does. Just look it up. But it's antiviral, boosts the immune system. Why do you think all of a sudden in the last year they wanted to take it away? There was an actual study done on a particular, I won't say what, on a particular disease going around, and they found it was effective. You can set up Amazon list products you recommend and you get a percentage. Oh, okay, and I'll look into that. Thank you. Yeah, there's definitely one. Warfarin was a rat poison. Yeah. Does anybody know what equal is? What it was designed to be? Equal. right? Aspartame. Glutathione injections were horribly painful. I had to put lidocaine on the injection site. And you know what, Anna? The NAC is much better. The precursor makes more glutathione than the actual injections. But there's a lot less money in an over-the-counter thing than an injection, I'm sure. Yep, Rain Song. Specifically, it was designed for ants. See, ants go after sweetness. And specifically, it is an excitotoxin, which means it excites the brain. It gets brain cells involved, gets them all excited. The drug does it equal, and then it kills them. You're allergic. You're allergic to to sulfur. Oh, I got you, Anna. I got you. Yeah, warfarin. When I was the short period of time that I was in the medical industry, man, warfarin was a nasty drug. People had to come in on that and get their there's people that had they had to get their blood tested so often that you had to ask them what finger is the least sore. Oh man, the stuff they put people through. Yeah, Sissy May, that's my thing, stevia. Stevia. And a particular kind of stevia I like the best. Get a little teeny bit of maltodextrin in it or whatever. It's less than 1 calorie per packet, but boy, it takes away the little bit of the bitter aftertaste that stevia sometimes has. Mm-mm. Yeah, Randy. I would think, Randy, do you have yeah, we were talking about the sugar substitute. Do you have the do you get your liver values often? You know what I mean? ACT and what's the other one? ALT and ACT. Is that right? ALT is for sure. I think the other one's ACT. But I gave the ivermectin to my best friend. Oh, and he hasn't got me yet. This has been like 10 days ago. He says, there's a problem with the mail in Baltimore. He says, we might get mail once or twice a week. Sometimes we don't get letters for 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know what's going on there. But he said he'll let me know when he gets it. He still hasn't let me know. I'd say it's been 10 days now. But the reason why I sent it to him was his wife has cancer. She's on hospice. And I don't know what I can say online. There was an article I had that talked about ivermectin and how it was good for this, 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 and this. And the last this was cancer. And it was a very good article because it even listed like the videos that the mainstream media has been purposely using to discredit it. Here's all you need to know. One of them had a picture of Rachel Maddow on the cover of it. Why some people think horse deworming medicine is going to help them or something like that. Killing Dead. You have any see, but I haven't taken it because I don't know what vitamins I can safely take together. I take vitamin C, K2 and D3, magnesium, B12 sometimes, zinc sometimes. Well, I take all of those except for the B12 by itself. I don't think NAC interacts with any of that. I don't think there's any contradictions there. You can look it up at, well, I don't take C. I really don't, because ascorbic acid isn't vitamin C. However, these emergency packets, emergency, they do something with, it's got ascorbic acid, but they're also playing with one of the other ingredients in there and getting vitamin C out of that. So it's very interesting. It's a little bit different. Oh, okay. It was 15 last check. I can't think of the letters right now. They went up below 10. It was 22 with the cancer. 15. Different. Randy. Different labs will have a little bit different cutoffs as far as what's good and what's not good, because they use maybe a little bit different method of spectrometry or something like that on the blood. Wherever they want it, I will bet that a month of taking both of those regularly, you're going to see an improvement. That would be my guess. I would be highly surprised if you didn't see an improvement. First of all, the liver wants to repair itself. It's the one organ in the body that will repair itself. In fact, you can cut away part of the liver and it'll grow back. It's the only one you can do that with. You can't cut away part of the heart and the heart comes back. Doesn't happen. Get it checked again on March 2nd. All right, so you can have a whole month now and see if it gets better. Don't even tell your, well, don't forget what I just said. I'm just going to be curious if your doctor somehow doesn't know this is what you're doing. All of a sudden they're like, I don't know what's going on, but your liver values are better. Another thing is milk thistle for liver, but I think it's very weak compared to these two. I think it does help, but I think it's very weak. I think that's for someone who has that's for someone who has a healthy liver and wants to keep it healthy. If you need to do some serious cleanup, so to speak, and I'm sorry I have to choose my words carefully on here. You know how it is. But if you want to do some serious cleanup to an organ, that particular organ, I would choose those two, NAC and TUDCA. But here's the thing, even though the liver wants to fix itself, you're not going to make it without a liver. It does too many things. I'm average. Never mind. What are you talking about? Whenever I get new soreness, I'm like, what did I do different? I've got soreness on the front of my deltoids, which I have not had in years. I don't know what did I do? Oh, I got to think. Oh, I think I know what I did. I think I know what it did. It's always something if you think about it. And if I didn't come to mind, one of the things in Muscle Fast is you must record everything. I don't know if you can see, but that's Charlie. I can't make it bigger like I used to because it used to be my computer screen. All right, cool, Randy. But yeah, you record everything. It's imperative. Unless you have a photographic memory. You take liposomal vitamin C, not the ascorbic acid type of C. Very good, Killam did. Very good. Your A1C is 5.1. You know what, Sissy May? I don't know if that's good or bad. I really don't know with A1C. There was a time when I could tell you probably what the average values were or what the range was, but not anymore. Is A1C good? 5.1 good? What will make your A1C bad is eating carbs, simple sugars in particular. Everything we've been taught is a lie. Everything we've been taught is a lie. Eat the carbohydrates. Stay away from the fats and the meats. Right? And to this day, you go into a store and it's not as bad as it used to be. Usually at one point it was like 80% of the products were low fat this, low fat that. Now I'd say it's about 30 to 40% is low fat. What happened Monday? Oh, I had a residual effect from COVID that made me go to the bathroom a lot, carbide, and I would not have been here for the stream more than a few minutes at a time. It's just the way it was. So what you do is you take that pyramid and you flip it upside down, and that's what you should be eating. The brain lives off of and runs off of cholesterol. Cholesterol. What do they keep giving us drugs to do to get rid of our cholesterol? Don't eat cholesterol. Don't eat fat. These people are sick, and they know this stuff. There you got it, carbide. Yeah, I explained it earlier. You probably weren't here. And it was one of those deals where I didn't even want to risk coming here to upload a little short little video saying this is why we're not coming on. So I just didn't. Whole fat milk and real butter. There you go, Sissy May. And what is 5.1? Is that good? Oh, lots of commercials from the 90s. Imagine. And almost every drink commercial stated made with 100% NutraSweet. Oh my God. Yes, and if you had, oh, Sissy May, what was the, did I say it was, oh, so it's good. Good. Awesome. Yes, it's because you're eating fats and proteins and stuff like that. But my grandmother had high blood pressure. Her father, now we're going back, but her father had high blood pressure. You know what they did to him? They bled him. Yeah, they bled him. Oh, your blood pressure's high. We need to drain some blood from you, which overworks the spleen and increases your blood pressure because your body's like, oh, I need a certain blood pressure. There isn't enough blood, so I got to pump harder. Oh my God. And there's still people that believe salt will give you high blood pressure. Salt will not, you could eat tons of salt. It's not going to give you high blood pressure. Now, if you have high blood pressure already, it will exacerbate it. Yes, it'll make it worse. Then you have to avoid it until you get your blood pressure under control. Blood pressure. Beetroot. Beetroot capsules. This is by Natural Elements. And I really like theirs. It's 200 of these, and I think it's $20. And I take, well, it depends on what day it is. You know what? I have low blood pressure to start with, so that's not the reason why I take it. I take it because I love to get a pump at the gym. And this helps with that. Beetroot does, L-citrulline does. I take 10 to 12 grams of L-citrulline pre-workouts, split doses. So that's how much I'm into L-citrulline. By the way, that's it's found in watermelon rind, watermelon too, but the rind in particular. These all help with blood flow. But no, they want to give you some kind of drug instead, which always listen to your doctor. You eat a lot of tomato sandwiches. It almost turned my stomach for a second there, Sissy May. Now, it wouldn't now, but when I was growing up, oh my God, tomatoes were the worst thing in the world. Then all of a sudden I started liking them. But not to the point of eating tomato sandwiches, I don't think. Remember your mom giving your siblings and I sulfur, castor oil, and sugar. I hate that concoction. It tastes horrible, but it worked for us. Sounds like it would be awful. I never had any of that, Randy. Carbide. I was rushed to the hospital by ambulance with 300 over 200 something. Had bad reaction to blood pressure meds. The pain was unexplainable. Was it blood pressure meds to bring your blood pressure down, carbide? Because that certainly didn't work, did it? They probably gave you alpha blockers, beta blockers, beta blockers. 133/77. The first number doesn't really matter too much. That 77 is fantastic, Michael B. Yeah, that's fantastic. My blood pressure, after I had my heart attacks, they have this protocol. These doctors, they have a protocol, and they can't break out of the mold. If you have a heart attack, one, it's got to be chest pain. Got to be. I had zero chest pain. None. I had back pain, middle of the back pain. I finally got them to take it all off my paperwork that I had chest pain, because I don't want the statistics to be wrong, because some people need to know that it's not always chest pain. It could be back pain. By the time I got out of the hospital, it was all back on there again. But here's the deal. You have a heart attack, you're going to go on cholesterol-lowering medicine, no matter what your cholesterol is. In fact, I don't even think they drew my cholesterol when I was in the hospital, because I think I remember asking what was the cholesterol. Well, we didn't draw for it. But I got cholesterol-lowering medicine. Got that. I got 2 blood pressure-lowering medicines. The highest blood pressure I think I had the whole time in the hospital was probably 120/75. Generally, I'm right around 100/60 to 70, somewhere in there. So it's low. Not real low, but a little low. So they put me on 2. And the reason why I took it was I didn't know, because I thought they put a stent in. They have to keep the pressure low so it doesn't blow that out. I don't know. I figured they knew. So when I went back to the gym, I was actually working with a trainer for some reason, and probably for rehab. And right in the middle, it was like the guy all of a sudden started speaking Russian. I'm serious. It was like, he was like, I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't understand you. Then I started feeling dizzy, and I sat down, and it was the weirdest feeling ever. There was a paramedic that happened to be working out there. He came over. He took my blood pressure. Got no reading. The paramedics came. And by the way, why do they always send an ambulance and a fire truck? You talk about overkill. They sent an ambulance and a fire truck for me, for my low blood pressure. And you know what was weird? I knew what to do. I've been in the medical field. I was like, I need to lay down, put my feet up to get the blood going to my head. I knew what was going on with me, but I couldn't articulate it, and I couldn't do it. I was too far gone. And the guy that was with me, he should have known, but he didn't know it. He didn't know what he goes. Somebody finally said, you need to get blood to his head. It was the paramedic that came. Anyway, they hooked me up to a machine, couldn't get a blood pressure. Finally, they took it manually. What was the first number they got? 57/32, something like that. That was my first blood pressure when it was coming back. So I go back. I'm going back to the doctor. And as I'm going back to the doctor, I'm walking across the parking lot, and I almost pass out. And I get there, I tell them there's something wrong with me. I'm almost passing out. They took my blood pressure. It was way low again. And so I get into the doctor, like, see what I mean when I said I have low blood pressure to start with? You have me on these 2 drugs. Okay, I'll take you off one of them. Well, I went off both. I tell you, man, they can't break out of the mold. And it's like I just canceled my virtual appointment with my VA doctor, Dr. Fatima. Because she's so anal. She's got to get me on some drug. The last appointment I had with her, she's looking at my echocardiogram. You had a miracle. Your heart came back to perfect 100% what it should be, which is not 100%. It means it's 50% function. And she goes, by some miracle that happened, and you don't have high blood pressure, and your cholesterol is only 180, and blah, 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 and you don't have this, and you don't have that, but you're not taking any medication. That scares me. So I was like, I don't need any medication. I get home, she calls me It says there's a drug because she tried to put me on a statin. I was like, I'm not doing statins. Statins turned me into an Alzheimer's patient. I'm not doing it. I said, I'll die first from a heart attack before I'll go back on a statin. So she calls, she did some research. Oh, there's a different kind of drug. What it does is it just lowers your LDL. And so she sent it to me. It's still sitting in the drawer, never been opened. I don't know what's wrong with these doctors, man. It's right, they're the pushers. And then Michael, he sent me a that's my son, in case you don't know. He sent me an article about LDL and its connection to morbidity. The lower your LDL, which you keep trying to lower your LDL, the higher morbidity you have, the more chance you have of dying of something. Lies, lies, and damn lies. Thank God Fauci is a straight shooter. Doctor, blood pressure pills and cholesterol, took them for a little while, and the sides were brutal. So yeah, you're lucky, Michael B. I didn't even know what was happening with me with the statins. Simvastatin is what it was. Simvastatin. And hey, Sheik David. So I when I was living with my son and daughter-in-law, they finally, I guess they got tired of hearing the same story over and over. They were polite. I wish they wouldn't have been polite. Finally, one day, my son says, you already told us that story a couple times. I was like, no, I didn't. He's like, yeah, and you do it a lot. I was like, no, I don't. I said, okay, the next time I tell you a story, you interrupt me. If you heard it before, and you tell me the ending. Next day, I told him something was going on. He said, stop. And this is what happened. Blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, thanks for the proof. Statins in the toilet. And it took a good 6 months for my memory to come back. Seriously. Oh, migraines. Randy, are you a veteran by any chance? Or do you have good insurance? In fact, I got to go next week, I think, for this. It's my once every 90 days, you go and get Botox, just like people do for cosmetic reasons. And I wish they would do it for the cosmetic purpose too, but they don't. My doctor, he's purposely does it so there's no cosmetic effect. But I think next I'm going to say, why don't you give me the cosmetic effect? Works the same way. But what it does is it really, really, really lessens the occurrence and severity of migraines to where if I get a migraine, I take a sumatriptan is what the drug is called. Very inexpensive, no side effects that I have anyway. And I'm fine. I would not have gone. I used to get 19 unbelievable migraines a month, and it caused me to lose my career, of which I was making over 200,000 every year. And I went from 200,000 to zero because of migraines. And 3 years after, I quit my job because of that, became disabled because of that. That's when they say, oh, we got this new approved thing. I say, okay, I'll try it. It's a miracle. I could still be working if, well, I got other crap now, but anyway. Cholesterol pills give you leg cramps. Leg cramps. That's interesting. Must do something with, see, there's side effects to everything. I wonder if it's messing with your magnesium stores. Usually low magnesium will give you particularly calf cramps. I remember my mother, she used to get calf cramps all the time. She was a smoker. And she ate white bread. It's a bad combination for magnesium ripping out of your system. And I said, Mom, why don't you just take magnesium? Your cramps will go away. And she said, really? I mean, I could tell she didn't believe it. I was like, yeah. And she did, and her cramps went away. She goes, I can't believe it. I was like, yeah. I mean, it didn't have to be that was the cause, but it just happened to be for her, it was. Yeah, those demons are horrible. No, sir. Sorry to hear that because that. See, to me, I know that would be an expensive procedure, the Botox, but I get it through the VA, so it doesn't cost me anything. Thank God. And by the way, Trump did a good job fixing the VA, but it's gone to hell since Biden's been back in. Just to let you know. At least my local one has. I'm still waiting to hear from. I went and had an X-ray done so they could do chiropractic. Okay, we'll call you. That's now been, and I actually called back, so they haven't called me. Okay, we'll have them call you. That's now been 4 or 5 months. Rain songs, you never smoked and no drink. That's fantastic. Man, I wish I could make that claim. I can't even claim to be natural with bodybuilding. I took 2 pro hormones back in the early 2000s. But it is what it is. And I am considering taking something soon. Maybe. We'll see. I'm very interested in these new things called SARMs, selective androgen receptor modulators. One in particular has caught my eye. It's called MK11. It's a peptide. It's artificial. And what it does is it supposedly inhibits myostatin. It's a pro something that inhibits myostatin. It's sort of like a NAC. It's like a downstream effect. Myostatin is I can show you an example of this. Anybody seen the myostatin deficient cows? Myostatin, its job is to inhibit muscle growth. All humans have it. All animals have it. But sometimes, like some cows, are deficient in myostatin. And this is what those cows look like, if you haven't seen it before. Look at these things. They are as muscular as you get. Look at this. They don't have myostatin, so the muscles get too big. Well, this YK11 supposedly works on that same principle. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But I've been lifting for 40 some years. I'm 61. So I'm definitely beyond newbie gains, and I'm sure I'm bumping up on my genetic potential. You're not sure about SARMs? Do they leave with chronic side effects? Do you imagine? I don't know. And I don't think they know because there isn't much study on it. However, I sort of have the opinion at my age, what do you got to lose? Now, there's anecdotal evidence. There's a lot of people that have taken them and seem to be just fine. But that's that. Oh, I also took, and I've talked about this before, besides the 2 pro hormones, and I remember what they were called, 1AD. Anybody that's in this, you'll probably know that name. It was 1-androstenedione. 1-androstenedione. And I think this one is actually still out there, Superdrol. It went away because the government, of course, Chuck Grassley, you can't have it. Take it away. But somehow it's back. I don't know how, but somehow you can get it again. I won't get it because that's how my liver values first ever got raised. I just happened to have an annual physical. I took the 1AD for a month, and then the Superdrol was about 2 weeks into it, had a doctor's appointment. She drew my blood. A couple of days later, she said, your liver values are too high. Well, I knew immediately what it was. I said, okay, I'll take care of it. She's like, no, you can't take care of it. I was like, yeah, I can. That's what I knew about milk thistle, but not, maybe I knew one other thing, but not the two that I discussed today. So I took it, went back in, had the blood work done, normal. She was like, "How did you do that?" And I told her. She started selling supplements. She was great. She was one of the few healthcare professionals that, one, was a genius, and two, was really open to helping you, and three, was open to knowing things she didn't understand and look into it and be for it if it was good. Yeah, I'd imagine, that there's always the that's why I'm hesitating. Um, there's a couple others that are intriguing. Also, that YK11 supposedly works through the DHT pathway. I'm not particularly prone to DHT issues like male pattern baldness or whatever. Although my hair is thinning, that's genetic, and it's not, I don't think it's even DHT related, because it's not thinning in the typical male pattern baldness thing. So I don't think I'm too sensitive to DHT. So I'm not worried about that part of it necessarily. But if my hair started falling out, I would stop taking it right away. There's some other ones. There's one called, there's one they took off the market that I thought I would really like. It was called LGD 4033, I think. And it gave you more of a puffy, wet look, swollen type of thing, which is sort of what I'm into. I don't necessarily like the dry, hard look. But there's like different things for different strokes for different folks. You treat your pain with MSM 1,000 milligram and turmeric 1,000 milligram a day. Oh, I wish that would work for me, and maybe it would. I've tried so many things. I just can't spend any more money at the moment on that stuff. The last time it was wild lettuce, and I took like 3 times what you're supposed to take. Didn't do a thing. Hello, Nikki M. Good to see you, Nikki. I don't know if Quaaludes helped, but you are dang sure couldn't feel anything on those bad boys. Quaaludes. Oh, you know what, Randy? I had a Quaalude by accident once. I never purposely took Quaaludes. I went to a party. I was in college, first time I went to college, and I had to be 18, maybe 19, and I went to a party, and I was with a friend from college, and he knew all the druggies, whatever. He was big time into anything, and all I did was drink. Every now and then I smoked a little pop, but that was it. I just drank, and I didn't even drink a lot. I had an alcoholic father who was abusive, and I just knew better. But this night, somebody dropped Quaaludes in people's beers, and I got one of them. Didn't know it, and anyway, I almost died. I remember laying face down on this guy's house. We went to this guy's house later on, and I remember somebody took me by the hair. I had a lot more of it then, and I was laying face down on the couch, and I didn't know I was laying. I was out of it. I was unconscious. And they literally pulled my hair pulled my neck back like this. And I remember opening my eyes, and then they let go, and I went back down, and that was it. I don't remember anything till the next morning. I think I was close to death. I'm serious, because I was drinking and took Quaaludes and didn't even know it. What kind of idiot does that? Drops Quaaludes in people's beer and doesn't tell them. Then the next day it was all funny. Oh, did you know Don dropped Quaaludes in a bunch of people's beer? Oh, thanks. That's what happened to me, huh? But I know a lot of people, Randy, that took Quaaludes. A lot. It takes a few weeks to get into your system once a day. If you miss one, you feel it. Good to know. Okay, 1,000 milligrams. I'll write it down. Turmeric. And 1,000 milligrams MSM. Cool. I like that. peptide idea though, like fertilizer for protein synthesis. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not gonna. If I do it, what do I? Like I said, I'm not natural to start with. I mean, I could lie and say no, I never took anything. But even if I only took it for one day, I would say I'm not natural. Now, did I get anything off of that? It was the second one, Super Droll. I started feeling stronger. I don't think either one made me bigger. Um, and maybe I got a little stronger off the 180. I don't know. But the big thing I took, that's technically not a, I don't know what it is. Um, and I've talked about it before, is the estrogen blocker. Pardon me. Rebound Reloaded. That's what it was called. Oh my God. I had roid rage off of that. And that's when Michael was about 14. He was going to the gym with me, but he didn't realize there's certain things you don't tell your mom. And I didn't even tell her. I didn't want her to know I was manipulating my hormones. So you know what I did? I knew this stuff from long. What I did was I put my supplement, my Rebound Reloaded, right next to hers because she had a couple of multivitamin, whatever she took. My ex-wife and my wife at the time, and I was like, at first I'm like, where do I hide this? I don't want her to know. I was like, I'll just stick it right next to hers. She won't even look at it. And sure enough, she never noticed it. Oh, he takes that. Okay. And I learned that actually from an attorney when I was about 11 years old. He said, you want to do something, do it right out in the open. People won't notice. When you try to hide it, that's when people will figure out, like if I would have taken Rebound Reloaded and stuck it under my pillow or under the mattress or whatever, eventually she would have found it and be like, why are you hiding this? But I stick it right out in the open, right next to her vitamins, whatever, woman's multivitamin, not a word. And anyway, it would give me this really short-lived road rage, both. I still have road rage, roid rage, and I didn't even know it was coming from that at first. I finally figured it out because it was screwing my estrogen. But I know it causes roid rage now. It's not too much testosterone. That chills you out probably. It's too much. It's not enough estrogen in your system. That's the chill, is the estrogen. But this was knocking it down to nothing. And one day the cabinet was open and I sort of bumped my head on or whatever. And I went into this 3 to 5 second explosive rage. And then bam, just like that, I was back to normal. And I guess it happened one too many times because my wife said, what is wrong with you? How come all of a sudden you have these little outbursts and then you're fine? Michael crawls up on the cabinet, opens it up, pulls out my Rebound Reloaded, right? This is it. This is what's causing it right here. It's like, oh. She starts reading it. What are you doing? I was like, oh my God. Thanks, Michael. He never did it again. I didn't stop taking it either, not right away. I did eventually. Now, come to find out, that was a lie too. You need estrogen. You don't have enough estrogen, you're not going to build muscle. And what we were told was, oh, if your estrogen is too high, you're going to hold too much fat. No, if you're eating too much carbohydrates, if you're taking in too much energy for what you're burning, you're going to store fat. And the more fat you have, the more estrogen effects you can have from the fat. Let's put it that way. Thank you for that, Rain Songs 9. I've got it written down. I'm glad you said a few weeks because if it didn't help like the first night or whatever, you're like, all right, so much for this one too. There's one actually that intrigues me called, one intrigued me, a SARM, selective androgen modulator, receptor modulator, SARM. It was called S4. And I was like, that really sounds good. And then I found that it can, it's got a side effect. It turns your eye, it turns everything you see turns, what color is it? Green? I think it gives you green vision, especially at night. I was like, no, I don't. And it's temporary, but I was like, no, I don't even want anything temporary messing up my vision. But then there's one called very similar, but it's like the strongest one ever. That they call it S23, I think, or 20. Yeah, S23, I think. So that's the other one I'm really looking into. Michael Baby doing intermittent fasting. I've dropped 15 pounds. I work out lots twice a day, 6 days a week. That's easy. I'm retired. Skin sure is looking loose. Yeah, that's the thing, Michael B. The skin. That's why when I got down to like close to 8% body fat, I was like, I don't want to be. I mean, I noticed it when I got to about 11%. I was like, no, I mean, this would be great if I was 32, but there's too much skin, and the skin doesn't like to tighten up. It doesn't like to tighten up anyway at this age. So you take where it's had some body fat there. I've had some lower ab body fat from the time I was 12, as soon as I hit puberty, until 58 years old or something like that. 46 years of fat there. In fact, I store a lot of fat in my lower back. And this excess skin is still like little lumps in my lower back. I'm like, what the hell is that? It's like, oh, yeah, it's just been fat the whole time. It's slowly tightening, slowly. By the time it gets real tight and looks good, it'll probably be 2 days after I die. But I don't want to get real low body fat. I just don't. If I can stay in the 12 to 14% range, which is I mean, if you look up 14% body fat, it looks fantastic. And it's about, I'm in the 12 to 14% now, and that's where I want to stay. You don't get way too many wrinkles. But intermittent fasting, that's part of muscle fast. I mean, it's really up to the individual what works for you. Intermittent fasting, OMAD, 1 meal a day. The bottom line is if you can't stick to a diet, and most people can't and don't want to, and I don't blame them because it gets boring, then you have to limit the number of times you eat a day. You want to know another lie? Breakfast is the most important meal. Yeah, sure is for the dairy and the grains industry. It's the most important meal. Cereals, right? Milk on cereal. What works for me is not necessarily right now because I'm trying to, and successfully finally gaining. I went from 191 just 3 or 4 weeks ago. I'm back up to 201, so I've gained 10 pounds. Thank God. It was just an adjustment I needed to make. I needed to add more fats. I don't like fatty stuff. I just don't. And I'm eating a little carbs, but not many. So anyway, the bottom line is you gotta restrict. You have to decrease the number of calories, and without it hurting you. And it's really easy if you stick away from the lies. The Bible code, I have most definitely heard of the Bible code, carbide. See, about the healthiest breakfast you can have, Rain Song, is eggs, I guess bacon, milk, whole milk. That's it. I mean, that's a healthy breakfast. Run that past your cardiologist. What? I mean, all you have to do is look and see what is the health of the people. What they say, 2030, that's 8 years from now, over half of the people will be obese. Over half the people are overweight now, well over half. So how's all this advice working that the experts are telling us? And all that does is get us on drugs. Get us on drugs. Homemade buttermilk biscuit. Oh, reminding me of my grandmother in Virginia. She used to make some biscuits and gravy. Oh my goodness. Sausage gravy and scrambled eggs with a side of bacon. The only thing would be the biscuits, as long as they're not in excess. You got it going on there. But yeah, the Bible code. I think most people know about the Bible code. Maybe not. How many people here know about the Bible code? Mark Harris, I love green. Well, then get S4. S4. You'll be loving life. And you'll be getting bigger. But good for you, Michael B. I'm so glad to hear that. I don't know what people have against it. I mean, my cousin has been trying to lose weight since he was 30. Unbelievably good-looking guy. But started getting heavy when he was in his 30s. And he's been asking me diet advice since then. He's my age, a couple years younger. And it's just a slow losing battle. Where every time I see him, which is not often, but he's a little heavier than the last time. And I don't know, I just tried it. And finally I said, look, forget about diets, do the intermittent fasting. And he said, okay. I said, look, take it easy first. Instead of, because what you do is you generally, with intermittent fasting, you eat in an 8-hour window. I said, start with 12 hours. 12 hours you don't eat, 12 hours you eat. He wrote back a few days later, no, it's not for me. I can't do that. What can I say? If you can't do that, and I know he's not going to stick to a diet because he never has. He loves pizza and he loves fast food, and it's just the way it is. And you know what, Rain Songs, you bring up something that's interesting to me. A lot of people's issues are related to poor gut health. I think one of the best things you can do is like eating beef and stuff like that for gut health. I've heard some good and bad things about probiotics. Evidently, most brands don't have the correct strain that are actually good for us. Only a very few have the right strains that would actually help us. I don't know. Nikki M. Not sure about anyone else, but I never wake up hungry. Always miss breakfast. That's me too, Nikki M. I've never been a breakfast fan. Never. My big thing I've always loved is lunch. I don't know why. But you know what? If you've your body sends out, your body has a, is it a hormone? Yeah, it's a hormone called ghrelin. And ghrelin, its job is self-preservation. Remember I told you the body likes to stay the way it is. The body likes to reach homeostasis and stay there. Wherever you are, your body wants to stay there. If you're fat and overweight, your body wants to stay fat and overweight. If you're thin and underweight, your body wants to stay thin and underweight. If you're muscular, it wants to stay muscular, and on and on. Wherever you are, it wants to stay. It tries to reach stasis, where it just stays the way it is. It's less work and less taxing on the body. One of the things that'll happen when you get down to about, I noticed it at about 9% body fat. All of a sudden, 3, 4 in the morning, you wake up with this hunger. It's like, what? Your stomach's growling or whatever. It's like, what is this? Your body is saying, oh, I don't want to go lower than 9%. That's what it is. And I understand that gets vicious. The more you get down to like 8, 7, 6, like these bodybuilders that go on stage at 5%, 4% body fat. I understand that the ghrelin is so bad, it's likened to torture. And I believe it. But also your body knows your patterns. If you normally eat at 10 a.m., whatever, 8 a.m., most people eat earlier. let's say you eat at 8 a.m. and then you miss one morning at 8 a.m. and 9 o'clock comes. Guess what? You're going to start feeling hunger pains somewhere between 9 and 10, usually about an hour, because your body's like, I want to stay the way I am. How come you're not eating like you always do at 8 a.m.? Don't you know it's 9 or 10? So you start getting ghrelin attacking you. Whatever time you're used to eating, skip that. Watch, you'll get hungry that time. So if you can get past the first couple of days of ghrelin without eating, let's say, breakfast, it'll go away. Your body says, oh, okay, that's done. We're not doing that anymore. I'm going to save my ghrelin for if he misses lunch now. That type of deal. Breakfast for dinner is good stuff. I know a lot of people that do that. They like it. It's never been my thing. I've never been a breakfast person. I don't like breakfast foods. Generally, it's just I'm not a big egg guy. I wish I was. I'd rather eat. I mean, I can eat eggs, but after a couple of days of it, it's like if I needed to eat eggs like for protein, I'd rather just slug them down raw. It's just who I. It's just eggs don't do it for me. The subject triggers people like flat Earth. It's hard to get people. Oh, you're talking about the Bible code, Carbide? Never mind the Bible code. The Bible code is. Let's see if I can remember this. It's based off of. Well, it depends on who you are. If you're a Hasidic Jew, you're going to use the Bible code on the books of Moses in whatever format they have it in. And what they found is if you take the original Hebrew and you run it through a computer, you can put a search term in the computer. Asteroid strikes Earth. And it'll come up with certain things that'll match with that. It's kind of weird. Christians use the King James Version of the Bible, and they get a Bible code too. And some people are really good at it. There's a Hebrew guy who predicted Trump would win in 2016 using the Bible code. However, he also said that Trump was going to win in 2020 using the Bible code. Now, 2016 was more impressive because nobody thought Trump was going to win then. And we sort of all know what happened in 2020, but I can't talk about it. So it's a matrix that comes out on the computer. I used to be into it. I'm going to read you Wikipedia's definition. It'll do a better job, I'm sure, than me. The Bible code, also known as the Torah code, is a purported set of encoded words within a Hebrew text of the Torah that, according to proponents, has predicted significant historical events. The statistical likelihood of the Bible code arising by chance has been thoroughly researched, and it is now widely considered to be statistically insignificant. A similar phenomenon can be observed in any sufficiently lengthy text. And that's sort of the thing I came to, too. Although Bible codes have been postulated and studied for centuries, the subject has been popularized in modern times by Michael Drossen's book, The Bible Code, and the movie, The Omega Code. Some tests purportedly showing statistically significant codes in the Bible were published as a challenging puzzle in a peer-reviewed academic journal in 1994, which was pronounced solved in a subsequent 1999 paper published by the same journal. See if I can get a picture of it. This may help. And what it is there's an equidistance. What it'll do is it'll come back with a skip. It'll say like skip every second letter and then write down every third, and it'll give you a term. Let's see. Oh no. Is this going to work? Sorry, guys. I think I got it fixed. Sometime this happened once before. Somehow, two instances of the stream get opened. I don't know. Anyway, let me share this. My apologies for that. Here's the Bible code. One example of it. Let's see. So what it does is it takes all this, like if you read this, it says, my laws and Isaac. It's the Bible, but there's no spaces. It's written out. And then the computer, you put in a term and it'll come back with, all right, at a skip of 74, meaning every 74 letters, you do what they do here, you circle it, you'll end up with a term that's related. This term is Bible, Bible, code, Bible code. This is Genesis 26, 5-10, in a 21 column grid. See, they make a matrix to derive the words Bible and code. The ELS, what this simply means is how much of a skip, how many letters do you skip in between before you circle the next letter? That's what that is. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure I do. So that's the Bible code, and computers do it, and I don't believe in it. So, I mean, let's put it this way. It's not that I don't believe in it. I think that God communicates to us much more plainly than needing a computer with ELS skips. Let's put it that way. You get a lot more out of just reading the text and learning how to study the Bible correctly than there was a guy I watched who and this is before I was in the flat earth, but even this got me in. It was like, come on. There was a comet 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. I can't remember the name of it. And he put the comet's name in the Bible code, and it came up and said the comet will hit. And then Mars came up. And then supposedly this comet hit Mars. But that was even a stretch. According to Chuck Missler, beat. I missed your previous comment, if there was one, Beat. Oh, the first two books are said to spell. Oh, I got you. Yeah, he did something on it, on the Bible code. To me, what's the purpose of it? If you're going to use it to predict something, which is what they were going to do, or what people did. In fact, people were saying the rapture is going to happen here because of the Bible code. Seriously. It's going to happen in the Feast of Tabernacles in 2016. Well, did it? No. To me, that's almost like God wants you to, he hides stuff and wants you to dig it out, but he isn't going to require that you have an IBM computer to do it. You're going to be able to do it with your own brain. So I'm not a. I mean, I don't care either way. If you want to get into that, get into it. To me, I found it was after a while. I was really interested in it for a while, and then I was like, "This is." It's actually almost strange. It's like a. You sort of get out of the word and get into the quasi word. The word of God meets the matrix. There you go, Veet. I think you can find many things if you run enough algorithms. And that's what this thing does. It does a skip of 1, 2, 3, up into the thousands. And then it jumps to the next letter. Does a skip of 1, 2, and 3 into the thousands. And then that, and it does not just going forward. It's looking backwards once every 5 letters back, or every 10, or diagonally up and down. I mean, come on. I mean, it's interesting, but I think that's it. I think it's a distraction in the long run. To me, I'd much rather piece a scripture in Amos together with a scripture in John, together with a scripture in First Corinthians, together with a scripture in Exodus, and say, oh, this is what God is telling us when you put the different pieces together. What is new is the Bible changes have made the code work. Mind you, this rabbi does not know Brain or his channel. Brian or his channel. I don't know. I don't know. See, they're going to use the Tanakh. I don't know. I don't know their source. I don't know any of it. I just don't. Bible's now says couch, stuff, planets, matrix. See, anything man gets his hand on, even the word of God, he's going to corrupt it. That's why you have the revelation warning. If you add or take away from the book, you're going to have plagues added to you. It's a no-no. And it means it can be done. And we know they've done it. We know they've done it. We know. Nobody's going to sit here and tell me that Easter was supposed to be in the book of Acts when Easter didn't even exist in the book of Acts. And if you think that the apostles were celebrating Easter, you're off your freaking rocker. Couch is 100-year-old Bibles now. Is it in the original Hebrew and Greek? That's the question. But I don't know. I'm glad the Bible code sort of died out. And there was a movie about it because to me, it was a distraction to the pure word. I mean, it was of how you're supposed to study the word. Here a little and there a little does not mean using a computer and skipping 5,000 letters one way and then 2,000 the other. That's no. See, I don't go there, Carbide. You all can go there if you want. Lion and lamb, now wolf. So to me, it was always wolf then. Whatever it was always. To me, what has changed is our memories. Our memories have been effed with CERN. Not actual words in print, not actual things on tape, not actual things in stone. Where's planets in the Bible, Carbide? See, we have 2 Kings 23:5. All right. Interesting. It's only in the King James Version. Interesting. No, it's not just there. It's finding. It's also in the American Standard Version. That's what I think of that one. It's one of the worst ones there is, in my opinion. English Revised. Please. Good news. Oh, the good news is when you take a good news translation and throw it in the trash. Do, 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 do. New Heart English Bible. That sounds wonderful. World English Bible. All right, this is 2 Kings 23:5. I'm using Strong's Concordance of the Bible, Strong's Exhaustive Concordance of the Bible. This is Hebrew. $42.08. We're looking up planets. $42.08. Well, it doesn't mean planet, which means man put it in there as that. A constellation or a zodiacal sign perhaps is affecting the weather. Used once in 2 Kings as planet. 42:16. It's from 42:16. The Mesorah. Okay. Constellation or part of the zodiac. Maseroth. Has nothing to do with planets. So I would say when Jerome got his stinky hands on it, he put planet in there, or planets. Because by the time Jerome got it, the Catholic Church had already paid Galileo. Galileo died. They revised his piece of crap system that everybody believes in now. And that would be planets for them. No man did Not. It's been there for entire history. All King James Bible, old and new. Well, let's see something. Well, when was the first King James Bible? 1611, right? Catholics came up with the Galileo crap long before that. What the heck was it called? Authorized. Authorized King James Bible. Authorized. Where were we? We were in 2 Kings 23:5. Pardon me just a moment. 2 Kings chapter. Thank God it's got this drop down. 23:5. And planets is here. So this would be, I don't know what's the difference between the regular King James and the authorized. And he put down the idolatrous priests whom the kings of Judah had ordained to burn incense in the high places in the cities of Judah and in the places round about Jerusalem. Them also that burned incense to Baal, to the sun, and to the moon, and to the planets, and to all the host of heaven. You have to remember, too, well, we already know this means constellation. It doesn't mean planet. However, the pagans who burned incense to Baal, they would be doing it to the sun, moon, and wandering stars. I don't know if they called them planets or not. But this is the only time we have planets in the Bible. And it's obviously not right. It's not what the original word was. And let me move this over because I keep losing the stream. Look at your personal Bible for matrix. You can just scroll through my Bible until I find the word matrix. Matrix is a legitimate word. He who breaks the matrix. I mean, out of the womb. Doesn't mean the matrix like we have in the movies. So hold on a moment. He who breaks the matrix. This will be an Old Testament thing in the law. Exodus 13:12. Let's see if that's one. Thou shalt set apart unto the Lord all that opens the matrix, and every first thing that comes of a beast which thou have, and the male shall be the Lord's. That's a perfectly legitimate word. Just because they use the matrix differently today, sort of like hell. Like the British used, the English used hell differently in 1611 than we use hell today. Totally 100% different. We would say the grave today. It means a big difference. But matrix is perfectly acceptable. Yeah, Rollers, you got it. Matrix means the womb. Yeah. Never heard the word until the movie. Yep, it's been there. I've known it for. In fact, when I first heard that it was called the Matrix, I think I remember being confused, like, because I know what the Matrix means from Exodus. And I think it's in Deuteronomy as well. So I was like, what is this movie about? Is it about being born? It sort of is. Sort of. Sissy May, you want the King's version? Do you want the version with Planet, or do you want the version with Matrix? The verse, rather. The verse with, I'll just give them to you. The verse with matrix is Exodus 13:12. There's others. Matrix is several times. The other word we were looking up, planets, is 2 Kings 23:5. That's the only instance of that. Carbide, we're going to have a totally opposing view on this. Game in bed and many things. You know for sure, Rich Matrix. 25, 30 years, I've known that term. It was in the Bible and it met the womb. Globalist plans were not in the Bible, now they are. Here's the deal. Whatever is in your Bible, and it's not this, but this is the Bible. Okay, this is taken from the King James. It's just laid out differently. But it's every single word that's in the Bible is in here. It's just a cross reference to the original. Every single English, I could go even further, any single version, period, that came after the original, the Dead Sea Scrolls, let's say, and whatever the original writings were of the apostles, anything, especially that's in English, someone actually said, and here's how they did it with the English, with the King James. Catholics over here, Protestants over here. Imagine a big conference room table. All right. There's, I don't know how many the word, there was a lot. Let's say 12 or 15 Protestants, 12 or 15 Catholics over here. And they got together and they looked at the scripture. They had the scriptures. And how do we translate this? What does this mean? How do we say this in English? And what they literally did in a lot of cases, they negotiated it. No, we don't think it. We think hell should mean the grave because that's what it means. No, we think it should mean hell, a place of torment. No, well, why don't you just say grave? Well, I'll tell you what. When David died, where we have this instance of David dying, yeah, we shouldn't use hell because we know David didn't go to hell. So we'll say he died and went to the grave. But everywhere else in the Old Testament, we're going to use this exact same word and translate it hell. Okay, if you give us that one, now I don't know if they negotiated this one in particular, but they definitely knew what the hell they were doing to use that word on purpose. They knew what they were doing because every single instance of Sheol, which is the abode of the dead, the grave, where people go when they die, they go to the earth, they get buried. They weren't cremated back then. They were buried or buried at sea or whatever. They were committed to the earth. Every single word of Sheol, they translated as hell. When it came to David, oh, that's special case. We can't say he went to hell. He's in the grave. They knew what they were doing. You don't all of a sudden wake up and say, oh, this really means the grave, and then go back to hell again. But my understanding is they negotiated a lot of stuff. All right, if you say this is the word we should use for this, we'll do that if you'll do this. Okay. No, we'll throw this word in as this, and maybe we'll, okay, all right, let's make an agreement on that. And that's how they came up with the English version. I'm surprised it's even legible. The Bible, it does. But it says it all the way at the end. It doesn't matter. Revelation 22:19. I think it's very appropriate. The very last chapter talks about it. You either put it at the very beginning or the very end. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, and it's not just the book of Revelation, it's the whole book. when God at the end when it says and books were open and they were judged out of the books, that's the books of the Bible. You're judged out of that, which you knew. Anyway, if any man should take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part out of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book. Let me read it in the New King James. And if anyone takes away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part from the book of life, from the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book. So that right there tells you that it can be changed, added, taken away. You changed it. If it doesn't matter if you add or take away, you're taking away from the original word. Like where it says, and these three are one, where they tried to make a case for the Trinity in, what is it, 2 John or wherever it is, 1 John. That's adding, but it's also taking away because you're taking away the meaning of that verse. Just like Easter, which has always been there in the book of Acts. There was no Easter for the apostles to celebrate. Are you kidding me? Easter? Look up the history of Easter. Tell me what the Jews had to do with it. And learn when it all started. Well, let's see. Maybe we can do a quick search. When did Easter start? Talking about for Christians. In the 2nd century. So that means between what? Let me see. How did Christians start celebrating Easter? Well, it turns out Easter actually began as a pagan festival celebrating spring in the Northern Hemisphere, long before the advent of Christianity. In the first couple centuries after Jesus' life, feast days in the new Christian church were attached to old pagan festivals. So a couple hundred years later, well, there were actually witnesses to Jesus who wrote the book of Acts. There was no Easter there was no Easter anybody celebrated in Hebrew or Christian at that time. But later in 1611, they were celebrating Easter, and the word is Pascha, which means Passover. And after Passover, they wouldn't denote Easter because Easter had no connection to Passover at that time, not till centuries later. Your personal Bible in your home is changing supernaturally. Well, if it is, then God wants it to be changed supernaturally. And here's the problem I have with that carbide. You can't prove it's changing, and I can't prove it's not. It's an empty vessel argument. Yes, Easter is most definitely evil. But if you look up the word, it's Passover. Sissy May, it depends on what version you're reading. Exodus 13:11. I'll go back to the different versions. In fact, I can put it here. And each version was what? Translated by different people. Human beings who aren't perfect did it. 13. Come on. It's not actually going to 13:11. What are we talking about here? Maybe I'm reading your verse wrong. Exodus 13:11 says you shall set up all that. That's not what mine says. Not what it says in my Bible. Maybe I have it wrong. Let me see. Exodus 13:11. And it shall be when the Lord shall bring thee into the land of the Canaanites, as he swore unto thee and to thy fathers, and shall give it unto you. So it's not Exodus 13:11. 13:12. That's what we're looking at. 13:12. Let me read a few different versions. You are to give over to the Lord the first offspring of every womb. You must present all firstborn sons of firstborn male animals to the Lord. You shall set apart to the Lord all that first opens the womb. You are to present to the Lord the firstborn male of every womb. You shall set apart unto the Lord all that opens the matrix. You shall set apart to the Lord all that open the womb. You shall devote to the Lord every firstborn of a womb. You shall devote to the Lord the first offspring of every womb. Womb. Looks like womb's got it hands down. Womb. It means the womb. Matrix does. I'm trying to see if there's any other exception. Here's one. See, here's when it's probably a translation so bad it loses it. Sacrifice every firstborn male offspring to the Lord. The firstborn male offspring of each of your animals belongs to the Lord. Okay, I guess that's okay. Womb. Opens the womb. Offspring of the womb. Yeah, only the King James uses the word matrix. So we got about 22-1 womb versus matrix. Isaiah 11:6. Oh, never mind. Apple Hub is so good in some ways and stinks in others. The wolf shall also dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and the little child shall lead them. And is this the one that's supposed to be wolf was changed? The lion shall lie down with the lamb, something like that? Oh, here's one. Leopards will lie down with young goats, and wolves will rest with lambs. It's interesting. Unfortunately, I'm not a memorizer of Bible verses anyway, and if I was, maybe I would know that, but I don't. Now, see, here's the deal. Matrix might change in all, but can anyone explain hundreds of lion and lamb books in stained glass? You can explain that with the traditional. I think where you're going with this, Carbide, is it's all been changed. So here's the deal with that. Here's the rules. Let's just say it was lion. Let me see. Lion and lamb. That's the way it was, but now it's wolf and lamb. Well, it used to be lion and lamb, but now every single copy ever of any Bible anywhere will now say, it's all been changed to wolf and lamb, every single one. And if you have a videotape of someone talking about that scripture 35 years ago, and they said lion and lamb, now if you play it, it'll say wolf and lamb. That's been changed. Do I have that right? If that's the case, if everything gets changed to match up with it, why do we still have stained glass with lion and lamb? How come that part didn't change? That's it. Yeah, it's supposed to be a Mandela effect. And I do believe there can be a Mandela effect, but it's our brains that are changing, not anything else. I believe when they did CERN, and here's the thing with the Mandela effect. Here, I was actually paying attention to stuff back then. Nelson Mandela got sick, and they said he was probably going to die. And then they never said anything else about it. Nothing. Then, when Obama was in, he died. And people go back and say, no, he died back in whatever it was. It was that Bush 1 or 2, I think, when they said Mandela was sick or whatever. I don't remember him dying back then. I'm sorry, I don't. I remember them saying he was sick and they thought he was going to die. But I do not remember, and I was paying attention to stuff. I don't remember him dying. And then all of a sudden when he died, he died before. This is the Mandela effect. Well, to me, that's BS because I don't remember it. How come I'm the one person that doesn't remember Mandela dying when they said he died? To me, it's all, our brains can change. Our memories can change. This doesn't change. And to me, it's aggravating because it's a stupid argument because you can't prove a thing. You can't prove a damn thing. Yeah, it's easier to prove that the earth is flat or round than to say all the books have been changed and all the videos have been changed. And it used to say this, but now it doesn't. Really? How do you know? Because I remember it was this way. Yeah, you remember it was that way. But how do you know? What physically changed? Can you explain how that can physically happen to digital tapes, all the print versions of everything, newspapers, whatever? Can you explain that? It's a to me it's all answered by our memories aren't right. Our memories are being screwed with. And because not everybody has the same memory distortion either. Some people seem to be more susceptible to this than others. There's certain things people, what's the thing? There's something about Jif peanut butter. Used to be Jiffy or something like that. My best friend remembers it. I remember clear as day when we were kids, it was Jiffy peanut butter. Well, I remember it as Jif. That's just the way it is. I never remembered it as Jiffy. So it's not universal. I believe it's CERN. I do believe it's CERN. Rain Song Rolos. What is residue? Why didn't the glass change? Huh? You can change digital stuff and things like that, but you can't change stained glass. You can change books, things etched in stone. So to me, it's arguing. It's arguing about non-existing elements. You can never get anywhere with it, ever. You can believe it. You can believe, oh yeah, it's all changed. We can't trust anything. Okay. I don't think God personally would leave us in that position. Sorry, but I don't. Is South America shifted way farther east, carbide, than most people believe? Carbide, I'm gonna stop talking about it because you know what, personally, I don't care. I don't care. I have faith. Can I do what? Look at South America? I drew South America down to the smallest of islands. I know where South America is. I will look it up. Thanks, Google. What the hell are you giving me? Trying to get one bigger because I know what you're going to say. But guess what? This is exactly how I always remembered South America. People picture South America shifted farther west than what it is. And I know what I need to do. I need to search for a map of Western Hemisphere. How's that? That'll do it. If I can get all the Google crap off. There we go. Let's take a look at this. Panama Canals, north and south, Alaska is huge. Okay. Orientation. Size of Alaska looks right to me. I have no problem there. This projection is a bad projection, though, because Africa is way too small. This is a Mercator. This is a Mercator projection. It's got to be. Or it's a Mercator variation. What you had was when a lot of the maps today, let me start here. A lot of the maps before modern times look like this because Germany thereabouts, into Russia, they were generally around the center or the United Kingdom because they're the ones that did the maps, so they always made themselves in the center. The white peoples would tend to expand, and this happened when it shifted further west, the white populations and diminish the black population areas of the world. So particularly Mercator would diminish Africa. Africa is huge. And so you get this, and because of that, everything else is going to have everything's going to have a distortion. I don't care what map it is, it's going to have a distortion. Or I should say distortions. Now, you want to talk about the Panama Canal. It runs northeast, southwest. Thanks for the picture. Oh my God. What? Come on. North, south, east. Okay. And Alaska. Now let's look at Texas. That's the biggest state of the continental. Let's look at Alaska. All right. You won't be able to see this, but let's see. Size of Texas. 269,000. I'm rounding up, okay? 269,000 square miles. Texas. Let's go to Alaska. $663,000 square miles. Triple the size of Texas. Nearly. Almost exactly triple. Now there's probably some distortion because I said this is a Mercator. It's got to be. See if we can get. Antarctica's accurate. Yeah, I don't know what else. I mean, like I said, when I was taking the topography, I had to do a scale, to scale, not 1-to-1, of course, map of South America. And the problem with that is, I mean, it's probably not even going to show here. Look at all these little tiny little islands. It drove me, and it's got to look like that when you copy it. Look at this. They all had to be on there or you failed. Look at this, man. It took months. It took months. So I'm very familiar with South America. And that looks right to me. I don't know. Africa's too small. In fact, the United States might be too big. I don't know. But maps I'm familiar with for the most part. All right, Carbide, we'll forget it. Oh, I'm not upset at you at all, Carbide. No. No, I'm sorry. When I get passionate about stuff, I sound like I'm upset. I'm not. I'm not upset at you at all. I'm sorry if you feel that way. But the subject aggravates me because there's no. It's like saying there really is two snowflakes that are identical, or there really are two different people that have the same fingerprints. Maybe. I don't know. I can't prove it. But I can tell you the reason why I believe that each snowflake is identical. Is not identical. There's no two identical snowflakes, and it's because we know that water, which is what snow comes from, is affected by our thoughts, our energies, our what's going on in our minds, because water has memory. That's been proven, and it changes the molecular shape depending on the collective around that water at the time. So any water that freezes, well, when you understand how snow is formed, it's super cooled, which means it's vapor that should have frozen out, but it hasn't because of atmospheric conditions. And it's usually super saturated, which means it should have already condensed but it hasn't because of certain circumstances that are going on. And what happens is, in the twinkling of an eye, it goes from vapor to snow to frozen. And whatever the collective consciousness is of humans at that split moment, to me, somehow affects that and everything else too that's in the world, at least water. And so I do believe that every snowflake is different. But that's just me theorizing stuff. But snow is actually quite a miracle. Rain can never be snow. Never. You cannot get snow from raindrops. You can get sleet from raindrops, where raindrops freeze as it's coming down. Ice pellets, same thing. But you can't get snow. That six-sided snow is from a vapor skipping over the liquid state and going right to frozen. Yep, more lies, isn't it? Sticks. Greenland is ice and Iceland is green. And why did they call Greenland Greenland? Because they wanted people to settle there. All propaganda. And they didn't want people in Iceland, because Iceland has a lot of natural resources. Oh yeah, the governments wanted that all to themselves. But if you're into that carbide, that's cool. I get it. But no, it's not personal. Trust me, it's not carbide. I'm not angry with you, upset with nothing. Mm-mm. I just don't particularly like the subject because it's to me, it's a hollow subject. It's a subject. What's the term? A cistern with no bottom. There's nothing. It's like having a cup, but there's no bottom in it. It's empty, and it serves no purpose, and in fact it to me it serves doubts, and over something that to me can never be proven or disproven. It's almost like Bigfoot. Is Bigfoot real or not? Yeah, prove it. And spending, we could talk 2 hours on here about Bigfoot. Wouldn't that be a 2 hour waste of time? But I heard that Bigfoot can now come out because he's been vaccinated. Everyone says 0.18 G of water has 6 times 2, 3 times the 10th to the power of 24 molecules of water. It'd be impossible to make every single one of them to arrange itself in the same manner. You mean, never mind that it would be impossible to get any two to arrange themselves in the same manner, correct? Sissy May says, what version of the Bible do you have, Sissy May? Says dome, not firmament. Sounds like you got a better version. See, I'm not a yeah, that's the thing, Veet. They don't know if he's got his booster or not, so he might not be fully however, if they had a COVID test for him, he could tell if he had natural antibodies, but they don't know. He won't come out to get tested. You're not going to argue with Bigfoot. Or the Loch Ness Monster. Does Loch Ness Monster, since it's a seagoing creature, does it even need to be vaccinated? These are questions for Fauci. That's right. Yeah, it's Bigfoot because he's really, really good at social distancing. Very good, Michael B. The New Oxford Annotated Bible. Well, for what you've told me so far, Sissy, I like it. Unlike some people, and I'm fine with whatever version you fall in love with or whatever, I like the King James version, but it is by far not my favorite. And I don't believe that the King James version is anything special. I hold more weight in the Dead Sea Scrolls than I do in the King James version. Again, if you have anything that passed through the hands of Rome, you got to be wary of. There was, when they translated, there were um, agendas. Each side had an agenda that they wanted to push. And they both wanted to push the hell agenda because it brought in more what? Cash. Yes, cash. As in It's a Wonderful Life. Fear, as we can know today, drives people more than just about any other emotion. Why do you think you've had 2 years of gaslighting of fear? Stay away from your neighbors. Stay away from outside. Stay away from crowded restaurants. Stay away from not crowded restaurants. Go to Costco with 5,000 other people, but don't go to mom and pop grocery store with 3. Remember how I was thinking the other night? When this whole thing started, they told us, and I can't remember, I could be wrong, that at least, and I know the minimum, 3 days, if a child, and they use children, if a child is at a playground and touches something and they've got COVID and they don't know that they're a carrier because they don't have, their immune system may not even let them show symptoms, but they touch the swing at the swing set. For 3 days, and I thought maybe at first they said maybe even 2 weeks, for 3 days, that COVID virus is living on that swing set that they touched. And my thing was what? Based on what and living on what? If it is a living virus, it needs food. It needs a way to keep living like any other living organism. So how is it 3 days living on a swing set? This was all scare tactics. And this is what we were told. YouTube, you can't hit me for this. We were officially told this. And that's why people started getting into spraying everything, right? You couldn't get hand sanitizer anywhere. And the fear was so great, you couldn't get toilet paper anywhere. Fear. And after all this fear, after all the gaslighting on fear, did you know that trillions of dollars have changed hands from you, really, to certain companies who are now raking it? And testing company, they have people so scared you can't find test kits. The healthy are testing themselves several times a week, evidently. They're selling test kits with like what is it, 14 tests or whatever. It's like 100 and some bucks, or maybe it's even 200 and some dollars. Even all of those are almost all gone. There's like one left on the shelf. And it made it so easy. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, we need the money for that. And what else has happened with all this money transfer of hands? And don't forget, it was so bad they had to give every American checks, right? So now what do we have? We have inflation at the real rate of at least 15%, month over month inflation, because they increased the velocity of money. People don't understand that. As soon as I heard they were going to cut everybody a check, I'm like, oh. See, inflation has been going on forever. Inflation really means printing of money, monetary inflation. We've been printing trillions after trillions after trillions for years. You guys know this. And more than what we know, the hidden monies and all this kind of stuff. But we haven't had the bad inflation. A little bit, nothing bad. Why? Because there's something called the velocity of money. That's where I take $1, okay, and I hand it to you. That's one in the velocity of money. You go out and spend it, give it to somebody else. That's two. Then they take it and spend it. That's three. Well, what they did was they gave everybody $2,000, $800, $1,200, $800 extra to stay home on their unemployment, right? And everybody started going out and say, oh, I can afford this now. I can afford this new washing machine. I can put a big down payment on a car. So now you have tens of thousands of dollars and millions of people giving chunks of money at the same time. That increases what's called the velocity of money. That is actual monetary inflation as far as price inflation, I should say. That's price inflation. That's what we got. And it's not going to get better before it gets worse. It's going to get worse first. I think I just said a Bidenism. You went off on a factor today. What were they challenging? Were they poo-pooing you, Carbide? Yeah, Twisted Clown. I hope a lot of people did that, but I know they didn't. Orange and tap water both tested positive on the other day. Well, I can see tap water. I don't know how the orange would. So much crap in our tap water. Yeah, they're cheering. They want a law to keep us home. And it is the vast minority. It's the minority who actually really feel that way. But they feel emboldened because that's all they see on MSNBC, CNN, right? That's all they see. That's the channels they're watching. Twitter. You ever go on Twitter? Oh my God. Somebody comes out with a statement of truth, even that the CDC comes out with, and they get hammered. Absolutely blasted. Bill Gates, my understanding, Bill Gates has the patent on the rapid COVID-19 test kit that was patented in 2015. Wow. Talk about being ahead of the curve. Twisted Clown. Where are you from, Twisted Clown? Where are they still having a mask mandate? You know, it's funny. They got rid of the masks. Everywhere they got rid of the mask, you know what happened? Nothing. When they opened up all the businesses here in Arizona, and the worst places, the gyms, movie theaters, and kids going down on the Salt River in a raft. When they opened all those up, COVID went down. It's just amazing. You got that right, Carbide. They have no problem letting us die from starvation. It's because they're so gaslit. So gaslit. Alberta. Thank God I don't live there. I was almost ready to go out and pay a personal visit to our tyrannical rhino governor. All right, guys, I'm going to go. 3 hours, 35 minutes. Amazing. Amazing. Time flies. You guys have been fantastic. It's been great. And Carbide, trust me, nothing negative towards you whatsoever in my mind. I love you, man. No problems. I put my emotions in my voice, and it doesn't mean anger. Sometimes it does, but in this case, it wasn't. And if that's something you're big time into, then I'll go for it. That's fine. That's good. We each have our things, and we each have our things that we don't touch. Hello, Focal Shift. Good to see you. Thank you, Sissy May. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. Thank you, Veet. What would God say if I wasted someone's sticky me? What took so long? What do you think? Everybody has a purpose. What do you think yours was? Oh, now I know how you feel, though. I know how you feel. Thank you, Sissy May. Thank you. Mm-mm-mm. Hey, you got it, Veet. You actually see? I did. I saw Bigfoot on my two low blood pressure medicines, blood pressure lowering medicines. That was probably the closest I felt to death. It was bad. It was bad. I don't even know how to describe it either. Oh, there's no hogging here, Carbide. There's no hogging. You take care of Carbide. All right, guys. Have a great night. Friday, as far as I know, Friday's good. Oh, maybe it's not. Friday may be later. Okay, Friday may be later. I'll see if I can do the same time, but it may be later. I have to meet somebody Friday at 4, and it's not exactly next to my house. And at some point, I'm going over my son's house for his birthday. He already had his birthday, but he's got the launch of his product happening on the 6th. So we're postponing until after that. So that'll be next week. But on Friday, there's someone I definitely need to get with at 4 o'clock. So God bless everybody. Thank you, Nikki. Same to you. And we'll be back Friday, like I said, maybe a little later. But I'll try to be on time as best I can. But I might not have a lot of notice. Let me see. Friday would be, see if Mr. Thrive and Survive will be up Friday. No, not yet. I think next Wednesday will be the first day I can do Thrive and Survive. All right. God bless, guys. Take care. Thanks for a spirited chat. I really appreciated it. And you all take care. Thanks for everybody who supports this channel in all the different ways you do. God bless. Bye-bye.